That's weird. What's going on, everybody? How we doing today? My camera's annoying. I have to reconfigure it every single time. Like it's really strange. I don't know what the deal is, but don't worry. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna figure that out. Whoop. Yeah, that's about good. Sorry about that. What's going on? How we doing? I hope we're doing all right. I figured I'd stream today because I'm not gonna be having to do certain things that are gonna make it so that I have to wake up early tomorrow. I figured we'd have a good time. All right, we'd have a grand old time. And actually, I'm just realizing I forgot to talk about this uh in my own server. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do that real quick. All right, here we go. There we go. There we go. So, what's going on? Zachary, JC, Thomas, Goosemas, Hanno Problem. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Gwidkins as well. I saw you. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit screwed up right now, dude. It's been bad. It's been bad lately. I've been getting headaches and stuff like that. It's something different every time. On Sunday, I woke up with a migraine, right? Today, I ran 2 miles, and I guess I didn't hydrate well enough prior to. And because of that, I ended up getting a dehydration headache. So I'm just kind of sitting here like, oh, dude. It's annoying. It sucks, but it is what it is. Wait, not balling. Sorry, I'm just going. I'm just reading this stuff. But yeah, it's. I want to stream as often as I can. I enjoy streaming. I want to continue. I want to continue making these streams good. Right. I've had a couple of ideas for streams that turned out pretty good, and I want to build off of those, and then I want to keep on doing my thing in the most general sense. Right. Got to just pound a pint of water right when you wake up. I mean, it's not just water. It's also electrolytes and things like that. Like you can drink as much water as you want, and it will have an effect. Obviously, like water is very good, but what's equally as important as water is also your electrolyte intake. And one of the ways that we tend to get that is salt and things like that. Um, so even though I drank plenty of water, fucking it just didn't work out, right? Because I didn't have enough electrolytes in me. Hydration is a science, and it's not just as simple as yeah, just drink a bunch of water as soon as you wake up. That's one thing that irks me. When I go to the gym on Saturday mornings is like, I give so much of my time to so many different people that I'm gonna stay up late on Fridays, even though I got to be up early on a Saturday. And I don't drink or anything like that. But every now and again, I show up to the gym and my coach is like, "All right, let's go." He's like trying to get me to fucking do shit when I'm really just there to babysit. you know. And I'm like, nah, I gotta hydrate first. And he's like, you should have did that before. And it's like, it's 9 a.m. on a Saturday, coach. Fucking, you think I didn't wake up 20 minutes before this? I woke up 20 minutes ago. All right, I didn't have a chance to hydrate, But even then, hydration, like I said, is a science. It's not just wake up and pound water, you know. It's you wouldn't know it if you don't do a bunch of physical activity all the time and things like that, right? Because I mean, after all, like when I ran 2 miles today, it's been a while since I've done any kind of running, so it's kind of a situation where it's like if all you do is just like work and then like do whatever leisure activities, you're not like really trying to punish yourself. You wouldn't realize how important it all is. It's like my last fight, the one back in 2019. I ended up dehydrating myself to make weight. I made weight, and then I drank like a sports drink thing that came in this MRE that I had. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and I was shaking. I was excuse me, I drank like Mad Water and Mad like sports drink, like MRE sports drink. What did I do? I experimented with MREs after weigh-ins, and actually it didn't work that bad. If I'm being honest with you, it kind of worked pretty well. But because I didn't have potassium, um, I was shaking. I was like not hydrated the way that I needed to be. And I ended up eating like 2 bananas, and that took care of it, and it was like perfectly fine, you know? But next time I fight, I'm probably going to do an MRE after weigh-ins just for the hell of it. Excuse me, Gooseman says, that's why every morning I have 3 bottles of Dasani and 10 packets of that powder from instant ramen. Exactly. You gotta scoop it like it's hot chocolate mix is what you gotta do. Together or each separately. What? Huh? What are you asking Minecraft Gamer about that? Oh man, I'm just gonna go ahead. I want to keep an eye on the Discord because I don't know if anybody is jumping in. But today is a chatting stream. All right, if you want to ask me a question, you want to talk about anything specific, you can go ahead and call in. I didn't want to just do a chill stream today, right? I wanted to have something that we were doing. But if it turns into a chill stream where I just play a bunch of AoE or whatever game I happen to pick, whatever, I'm cool with that. But if you decide you want to call in, the way it's going to work is you're going to jump in the waiting room, okay? And then you're going to jump into the call order, all right? And you're going to put a 1 in the chat. And that's how I'm going to know who was in there first. That way I'm not picking people out of order. Like, we already do have somebody who jumped into the waiting room, all right? We're going to get to you in a little bit. I'm going to read a little bit more of the chat, and then I don't think I have any big updates or anything to talk about or anything like that. It's just, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But we're gonna do our thing today. All right, today. You guys ever see Power Thirst? That was like the funniest thing back in middle school was Power Thirst. Right. In fact, I should be able to show you without copyright. You know, I don't think this guy is probably gonna be big on the whole. Then again, I don't know. I guess we'll. All right, hold up. Don't worry. I'm gonna pull it up for you guys real quick. This was the funniest thing back in middle school. This was the absolute funniest thing. All right. Yeah, it should be good. Power Thirst.
Hey! Do you want to feel so energetic? Try Power Thirst. Energy drinks for people who need gratuitous amounts of energy. With all new flavors like chocolate. Chocolate energy. It's like adding chocolate to an electrical store. Sound the alarm. You're gonna be uncomfortably energetic. What's that? You want strawberry? Well, how about raw berry? Made with lightning. Real lightning. Sports. You'll be good at them. It's an energy drink for men. Energy. These aren't your dad's puns. These are energy puns. Turbo puns. Science, energy, electrolytes, turbo lights, power lights, more lights than your body has room for. You'll be so fast, Mother Nature will be like, slow down. And you'll be like, fuck you, and kick her in the face with your energy legs. You'll have so much energy. Just running all the time. Power running, power lifting, power sleeping, power dating, power eating, power laughing, power spawning babies. You'll have so many babies. 400 babies. Give chocolate to your babies and they'll be good at sports. Make your babies run abnormally fast. They'll run as fast as Kenyans. People will watch them running and think they're Kenyans. They'll race as fast as Kenyans against actual Kenyans, and it'll be a tie and they'll get deported back to Kenya. Hey, go with the sure thing. Don't gamble on your energy. Snake eyes. Try Power Thirst, the energy drink that will make you sword.
Hold up.
Try Power Thirst, the energy drink that...
No. Is that Casey Neistat? That kind of looks like Casey Neistat just a little bit, doesn't it? Right? I don't know. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't necessarily think it is, but it kind of looks like him a little bit. That was like the funniest thing back in middle school. That was one of those videos you always quoted with your friends and shit like that. Like, it's also one of those videos you watch again in middle school and you're like, whoa, this is hilarious, and then you go back to it like when you're 23 because you're like, oh man, I remember that, and then you're just like, wow, that was not that funny. you know. The memories of stumbling upon this with my friend in his basement, because he had his computer in his basement. That was hilarious. It was me, my buddy, and my brother, and we would stumble upon all these, like, you know, videos that we thought were hilarious and things like that. But I mean, wow, it came out 16 years ago. This was released on May 29th, 2007. Excuse me. That is crazy, and it's got 34 million views, you know. Man, it's such a weird thing. It's such a weird thing that there's a bunch of, like, videos that are now, like, well over 10 years old, and chances are, like, I mean, I'm sure people still see them and things like that. I mean, I'm seeing comments from a year ago, and yeah, like 1 to like 3 or 4 years ago and things like that. It was. I'm sure it's still getting views, but how many videos are there that, like, people were, like, laughing at like a motherfucker that are just gone now? And when you think about that, it kind of makes you a little sad, you know. Grandma's Kisses was another one. Excuse me. Grandma's Kisses was a good one because not because of anything. Grandma's Kisses was a good one, but it got taken down for a while, and I'm pretty sure Grandma's Kisses is still on here. I'm just curious. Yeah, somebody re-uploaded it, but I remember for a while you couldn't find Grandma's Kisses, you know. Which, if you don't know what that is, that's this one, the SpongeBob one, the SpongeBong one. There was also SpongeBong Hemp Pants, right? Again, I'm sure SpongeBong Hemp Pants. I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, right? But I'm pretty sure this is also, like, okay to show. I don't think it's yeah, okay. All right. This was another one, right?
Stoners. Oh. Hold on, gay. Oh. Who lives in a bunk in a dormitory? SpongeBob Hemp. Disgusting and green and sticky as he. SpongeBob Hemp. It's smoking the chronic is something you do. SpongeBob Hemp. Your thumb on the carbon, he'll smoke it with you. SpongeBob Hemp. SpongeBob Hemp.
Like, this is the shit you find randomly searching.
You know, Hashbread,
Oh, yeah,
I can't think of anything
yeah,
better than hanging out with my best friend and playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
I know one thing that could make it better.
Are you?
What do you want, SpongeBob?
Hi, Splifford. We'd like
Oh,
one sack of
they call
primo
him
seaweed,
Splifford.
please.
That'll
I think that might have been Mr.
65
Krabs,
clams.
too. If I could-
65 clams,
Oh,
huh?
Get back here with my stereos, you bottom feeders!
Seconds later.
I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be a crack rock. I could be wrong about that one. But, like, YouTube used to be so great, and people today won't, like, people today will never be able to know how great it was, you know? And it's not just boomer talk, you know? Like, it's not just boomer talk. Like, YouTube used to be something that was so much better than it used to be. Excuse me, geez. You see, that's the headache talking. YouTube used to be something that was so much better than what it is now. And, like, you'll never be able to get that era back. You'll never be able to get that feel back. It's once you go Hollywood, you can't go un-Hollywood. You know, at least when you're a multi-million-dollar website and things like that. That's not really how that kind of thing works. And, you know, hey, it is what it is. I have high hopes that something at some point will come along, but, you know, here's the thing too. A lot of the time you don't really know you're in the good old days, the good times, until after they're gone, you know? If you had asked me back in, like, 2009, my opinion of YouTube, or, like, even 2011, 2012, even 2014, I would have said, yeah, YouTube's a really good site, and I would have been really hopeful for the future and things like that. But now that I got a patina on me, now that I'm a little bit more wise to the realities of the world, I probably should have known that the beginning, like 2005, I think it was when it was created. I first became aware of it, and I want to say like 2007 to about 2015, 2016, those were the golden years, and it was never going to get any better than that. There was no way in hell it was going to get any better than that, And the cycle, right? And this is one of the reasons why Rumble, like, I've heard very good things about it, and I wouldn't mind getting on there, but I'm also not, like, chomping at the bit to get on there. The cycle that always occurs with these websites and things like that is they get created, they cater to a fan base that is full of outsiders, and not just outsiders like the antisocial social club types of fucking losers. I mean, like, the dudes and the chicks that, like, they genuinely, like, they get kicked out of places. They get told they're, like, losers and stuff like that, Not the cool losers, not trendy hipster losers who want to pretend like they're outsiders, but everything they own is designer, and they have tons of friends and things like that. They cater to outsiders who make edgy content that is not considered to be okay by the standards of the mainstream. And then eventually what ends up happening is a bunch of kids end up flocking to it for that kind of content specifically. And that's when the popularity of that website, or that whatever it happens to be, starts to really kind of pick up. And that's when the brand deals start. That's when big business starts to kind of make its way in a little bit. And now all of a sudden they're getting emails from executives and stuff like that. And that's when they start taking money. Now, there's a little bit of a sweet spot where you can get paid for being edgy, for being an outsider. But eventually, once you get to this side, it starts to kind of trickle, right? Or not trickle. It starts to kind of pitter out. And we saw that with YouTube. Like, they had the adpocalypse and stuff like that. Like, that was a very abrupt ending, but it wasn't even a complete and total end. Filthy Frank really got out at the right time. He really got out at the right time. That's just, because, it is what it is. YouTube is just not going to be that good anymore. I have high hopes that something will come along. To my understanding, Twitch is kind of shooting itself in the foot as well. Maybe something will come along on that end. And we'll be able to do our thing again. We'll be able to do our thing again without having to worry about things all the time. Excuse me. I'm going to read the chat a little bit, and then if you've been waiting patiently in the waiting room, I'll go ahead and I'll take whoever's in there. So that, again, if you want to call in, all right, if you just jumped in, this is a call-in stream, okay? And if you want to call in, you're going to jump in the waiting room, and you're going to put a 1 in the call order channel, right? That way I know what order you ended up coming in, all right? Where is it? Oh, yes. Okay. Bub Rub and Lil Sis was our video in high school. The news reports about the whistle tips got topped by the Leprechaun Hood news story years later. I remember both of those. My cousin showed me the Bub Rub. And his sister as well. That was pretty good. Maybe we'll watch that after. Maybe that's what this is turning into. It's going to be call-ins, and then in between we watch classic videos and things like that. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Always remember OG YouTube poop. Yeah. Emp Lemon is someone who I was excited to meet, but I never got to. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be up this way for season 3 or anything like that, or if he's just going to be up here in general. But YouTube poops were beautiful, and that's when I do my griefing videos, when I do my, like, Call of Duty trolling videos, and I'm gonna probably start working on another one of those this summer. YouTube poops were kind of the inspiration in a way, right? I remember I stumbled upon, like, Minnesota Burns and stuff like that. I didn't, like, watch them religiously or anything like that, but just the idea of, like, making people rage on voice chat was like so hilarious to me, and it's still fun and funny to me to this day, which is why I do the griefing videos on the side. I might release one of those soon, like to the main channel, because right now it's all on my Patreon and things like that. But what was I gonna say? Oh shoot, I lost my train of thought here for a second. Oh yeah, but YouTube poops were an inspiration for me to start doing that as well. I didn't just want to be sitting here talking mad shit to a bunch of kids and stuff like that. I wanted there to be a higher quality, and I don't mean like better quality. I mean like a higher piece to the videos, you know, and that's why I did them the way that I did them, with the soundboard and the after effects and things like that. But with that said, do you play CS? Nah, I don't play CS. I'm very basic when it comes to my games. I play a lot of Call of Duty, and excuse me, I just started getting into AOE because Taylor from PKA turned me back onto it. I used to play it years ago. I actually borrowed it from that same cousin who showed me Bub Rub. And we're gonna pull somebody in a second. Don't you guys worry. Don't you guys worry. What was I gonna say? Damn. You see, it's happening again. I'm like, I'm sitting here like this. Yeah, but other than that, it's like I play Call of Duty, I play the Fallouts, and I play AOE. That's basically it. I haven't played Helldivers since the last time I played it, and since before that, I didn't play it since the day I got it, you know. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna pull in our first caller. All right, everything is good. We're not gonna have some weird mishap. Oh, I'm not even in the allow. All right, hello.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. So you reminded me of an old video. I was originally going to talk about dehydration, which I probably will, but you reminded me of a video from like 12 years ago called the Angry Birds animated parody. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that one.
I haven't watched it all the way through again, but I remember watching it as a kid. My friend showed it to me, and it's just the Angry Birds, but then they pull out freaking machine guns, and then they start shooting the pigs, and that's pretty funny. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll check that out after this. If I feel like I can show it, I'll show it on stream.
Yeah, I don't think it's gory, but yeah, so I was originally going to tell a couple funny stories regarding dehydration. So one time when I was like 15, I was riding my bike, and I had a little bit to drink that day. I think I brought a water with me, but I didn't take like a Gatorade or anything. And so I just started fucking passing out. And so I ended up like going blind, and I had to like lie on the side of the road and call my parents to pick me up. And then yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like I was fucking passing out.
Damn,
and then
that's pretty insane. Fucking yeah, I didn't know that could cause blindness. I mean, my guess would be that when you're dehydrated and you're overheating, your blood thickens. So maybe it had something to do with that. Cause like my brother-in-law, he had heart issues that were making his blood pressure extremely low, and we had to bring him to the hospital. And he said that he lost his sight; he couldn't see. He couldn't even get up and walk to the car. We had to carry him to the car, you know. So I would assume that was probably what it is.
Yeah, was he like super pale?
Well, I mean, he's a brown Brazilian, so I wouldn't say he got pale.
Yeah, I think my parents said that like my lips were like blue and like my pupils had dilated and they were like huge. So my mom was freaked out, and so I ended up going to a cardiologist, and they made me wear like a little like device for a day. I forgot the name of it. And then there's like, nothing's wrong with your heart. I was like, okay, cool. But that's not the first time something like this has happened. Well, it is the first time something like this happened, but it's not the only time something like this has happened. So more recently, during the summer, I was staying up very late playing Skyrim, and I went to the gym, and I was just doing bench press. And then pretty much the same thing started happening. And so I had to like straight up, I was just sitting in the locker room and I had to ask a dude to like help me out. Like I was like, hey man, I have money. Can you like give me Gatorade? Because I was pounding water, and I guess my electrolytes weren't balanced because it wasn't helping. And so like eventually, like I've overheard these people. They're like, man, is this guy on drugs or something? And then eventually, some guy gave me a Gatorade, and I ended up regaining my sight, and I drove back to my apartment. But yeah, it was fucking crazy.
He's like, is that guy on drugs? No, I'm blind. Fucking
Yeah,
yeah. That's pretty fucking crazy. You gotta be careful, man. Fucking and like I said hydration is a science, and like it's 100% true. It's not even like like the reason why they started cracking down on weight cutting in fights is because if you fill a sponge with water and you squeeze it, all the water expels. It ejaculates
yeah,
from the sponge pretty much instantaneously. But the thing is, if you then try and use that same sponge to clean up all the water, you're gonna notice it doesn't soak up all the water. In fact, a lot of it gets left behind. And your body is kind of the same way. Like if you like pound tons of water after you're already dehydrated, chances are you're just gonna piss the water straight out. Your body isn't actually soaking it up or anything like that.
yeah. There's like in bio, like in college, it's like there's the hypotonic and the hypertonic stuff with your cells. I wasn't interested in that class at all, but it was, yeah, it's like pretty much the same thing, that salt and all that other stuff draws the water into your muscles and your cells and stuff. And if you don't have that, it's just gonna pass through pretty much the way I understand it.
Yeah, you got to eat more bananas, man.
Yeah, probably. I put a liquid IV in my gym bag, and now I'm never short on Gatorade, so never again.
Oh yeah, glad you're all right. You got
Yeah.
anything else you want to talk about though?
Nah, I'm good, man.
All right, thanks for coming
All
on,
right.
man.
Yeah, take it easy.
Peace out. See you later. He let himself out. You guys let yourselves out, and you robbed me. You robbed me of the satisfaction of being able to kick you out of my call myself. What the hell? Yeah, do you like you got to take care of yourself, and that's one thing I'm kind of learning more and more is like when I get sick, like I get a small cold and I'm like, nah, it's fine. I can work through this. And then I go to work and then I go to the gym. And I don't even work out at the gym. I'm just teaching other people, but I'm doing just enough moving around at work and at the gym that the next day I wake up and I'm just absolutely fucked. I missed Thanksgiving this year because of that. Because I was like, no, it's cool. And I was supposed to I missed every holiday this year, and like that's what makes me upset about Thanksgiving specifically is because I missed Christmas with my family because my wife had to do the surgery. I have not forgiven her, and then like Thanksgiving, I couldn't see my family either because I was so fucked up. It was awful. It was annoying, and you got to take care of yourself. There's a difference between pain and agony, and a lot of people are not accustomed to pain, and because of that they mistake it for agony. And this is something you have to teach kids is like, look, just because you bumped your head doesn't mean you're dying. Like, knock it off. Like, quit fucking crying. I especially hate it when a kid like I don't talk about people in my classes and things like that, but because that's just bad form, right? But like every now and again you get a kid who like he's being a little bit devilish, and you got to be like, hey, knock it off. But then like he ends up getting hurt and he cries about it, and it's like, you see, that's why I told you to knock it off. All right, first off. Second off, like I can't sit there and be like, shut the fuck up, right? Obviously, but at the same time, it's like, you're fine, kid. You're fine. What are you crying about? You bumped your head and now you're like crying about it? Like, what's wrong? And everybody's like this. Like, everybody has that moment when they're a kid where like they fall over and they cry, and your dad has to be like, you're fine. I shot in a different direction with what I was originally trying to say. But like, pain and agony are two different things, right? Pain equals gain. They say no pain, no gain. Completely and totally understandable, and I agree. Now, agony, on the other hand, that's when you broke something. That's when you sprained something and now you can't move it properly. That's when you are dehydrated to the point where you are losing your sight, you know? And you got to know the difference between the two. And that's something that I try to make sure people in my classes understand is like, look, I don't want you bitch. I say this to the 8-year-olds. Look, kid, I don't want you bitching out. I don't want you being a little pussy bitch in my class. Punk. Fucking. No, but like, I say it much nicer, right? Obviously. I basically tell them, look, I don't want you bitching out. Like, just because you're a little bit tired, that doesn't mean you stop. But, you know, if you're at the point where you're woozy, if you're at the point where you know, you hurt something and you're like, ah, man, I don't think I can punch with this arm. Oh, I don't think I can stand on this leg. That's something different, you know. And even then, you'd be surprised what you can work through when it comes down to it. You know, people work through like legitimate injuries all the time. It's just a mind over matter thing, but also like, you know, there's many facets to it. I'm not trying to look down on anyone because they tore their ACL and they had to stop. You know, obviously. But all right, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna bring the next person in. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What's going on, man?
What's up? I just thought I'd call in. You had a pretty good rant about electricians last time. I thought it was funny as hell.
I did. Man, I don't remember that.
Oh, dude, it was some good shit, man. I'm a big fan.
What did I say specifically? Like, give me a rundown. I have a couple of things in my head. I'm like, oh, could it have been that? Could it have been that? I don't know.
Some good ones. Let me see. Like, oh shit. Ah, fuck, man. I gotta go. This failed completely.
You don't remember
Shit.
either?
Yeah, no.
That's all right. Fucking.
I'm out.
You're out. You're leaving? Really? Why?
Shit.
What were you? What was this a troll? Were you trying to lay epic troll me, sir? Is that what this was?
Definitely not. I was just more trying to have a conversation. It was like, oh shit. Seeing your face and then the difference on the phone is like weird as fuck.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, hey, we can talk about whatever you want, man. You know, if you want to go, you can go. You can see yourself out, or I could kick you out. Either that, or if you got something you want to talk about, something you want to ask, something you want to say. You know, this is your platform, sir. This is your soapbox.
Oh shit. Well, got nothing to say. Hey man, have a great night. Hope the stream goes well. Best wishes. Later.
You too, man. Peace out. Oh man, that's crazy. Anyway, all right. So we'll just go ahead. We'll get right on the next person. Although Kaisar says, "Yep, that's 100% true. Pain is not the end of the world." Yeah, and I really think that's part of being a man, is understanding that pain is not the end of the world. I think that's part of what makes a man is the willingness to move forward under extreme pressure and pain. You know, we know that women, they tend to not do very well under pressure and things like that. And this isn't like a I hate women thing. This is it's just the truth. There's like scientific, there is scientific shit, right? There's scientific shit. No, but there's been, the science backs this up, all right? They say trust the science and things like that. One of the reasons why women tend to panic in high-stress situations is because men are able to access the flow state known as the zone in the West. In the East, they call it Mushin. We are able to access that by our combination of testosterone and cortisol. And women, seeing as how they have so little testosterone that it barely registers, they don't have testosterone and cortisol to mix together to create that flow state. And because of that, they tend to really, really freak out under high intensity situations, as opposed to us where we zone in on whatever we're trying to do and we're able to just move forward under that pressure and through that pain, you know. But with that said, we're going to bring in the next gentleman. Hello. Hello.
Hello. One moment. Let me fix my audio. I apologize.
That's all right. I mean, you don't sound bad on my end. I don't know. I don't know if
I'm good. Hey, man, how's it going?
I'm all right. What about you?
Is this the Scott Sullivan,
No, it's Sam Hyde actually.
imposter?
Yeah.
Whoa, I've been drafted into the top secret Sam Hyde army.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Cool
Though?
to
How
meet you,
doing?
man. I'm doing great, man. I saw your stream pop up, and first I want to say I'm a fan of what you do. I'm a fan of your stuff. I like the stuff you say on the channel. I like that you're Christ is King. I see the cross on your back there. Huge respect for that. Yeah, I'm a fan of you and your stuff. I have a story that I'd like to share. I promise it won't take too long.
Okay.
If that's all right with you, it's a martial arts story. I think you might enjoy it.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so I'm not going to give details about the exact dojo because I don't want the guys to get in trouble. But so anyway, long story short, I was in this Discord server, and there was a guy that I noticed training there, and I've always wanted to get into martial arts. It's always been kind of a dream of mine, but at this time I hadn't trained anything. And this guy posts a lot about how he trained martial arts and all that type of stuff. And he was also from Brazil, so he had a lot of experience with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, obviously, but also Muay Thai and stuff like that. And I think out of boredom and also out of a desire for a challenge, I decided that I wanted to fight him. And I live in the U.S. I live in Washington State, so pretty far from Brazil. But one thing led to another. I challenged him over Discord, and what ended up happening was he weighed 250 pounds at the time, a big guy, and I weighed 180. So I got up to about 220 pounds from 180 in about 3 months of about hellish force feeding, essentially. And we started talking. I didn't know him very well, and I don't recommend doing this to anyone because this is extremely risky and possibly very foolish. But I bought plane tickets to Brazil. I flew to his city, and I ended up meeting up with him. I trained at his dojo with him once, and then we snuck into his dojo. I don't want to give specifics because this was definitely not allowed, but we snuck into his boxing ring. We had ourselves an amateur fight with no ref, just me and him. But it was a pretty wild experience.
That's pretty crazy. Fucking what city was it in?
It was in Curitiba, Brazil. I guess I can give that much.
Was he a shoot box guy?
I don't believe so. His boxing was not. He wasn't big into boxing, and I need to preface: I'm not a martial arts expert at all, and I'm still pretty noob. I only trained enough to get to the fight, get through it with very sloppy form, and then survive. So I don't really know all the techniques that he used, but he was mostly jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, from what I understand.
No, well, I mean, if when I mentioned the name, you would have known right away because you would have been like, "Oh, that's the gym." But Shoot Box is a gym in Curitiba. What's it called?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a style. My apologies.
Yeah. Shoot Box literally means kickbox. It's like funny. I didn't even know that, but yeah, they. What a lot of people don't know about Brazil is that they're actually really big on Muay Thai, and they have their own little take on it. That's
Yeah.
that you like Brazil is a destination for Muay Thai, whether people realize it or not. It's just that people I mean Muay Thailand, it's in the name, so you would want to go to Thailand. Plus, I think a lot of MMA guys are secretly into lady boys. Not me, but I'm
Yeah.
just being honest here. I
Right.
think there's more of those guys than people might want to admit to. But yeah, like it's cool that you went all the way to Brazil. I hope you enjoyed it out there. I hope you didn't get robbed for one thing.
Yeah. No, it was a super cool it ended up me and the guy ended up striking up a pretty cool friendship. I don't know if you can show the chat on stream, but I can post some pictures from there to kind of back up my story because I know it sounds like utter BS. And I also told it terribly because I'm currently recovering from a surgery on my nose and I'm on painkillers, so I'm kind of a mess right now. My apologies.
Was the surgery because of the boxing match?
Oh no, nothing so cool. Just a deviated septum that I had to have repaired.
Yeah. If you want to post pictures, go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you
I'll
can
just
throw.
post them in chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can post them in the regular chat, and I'll show the stream when you end up posting them.
Okay. I'll just
How,
pick an assortment from my phone.
yeah. How do you do? How do you think? What I should ask is how do you think you did?
You would have probably cried and laughed at the same time watching my form, but I'd never been in a fight before, and I was going from never having done anything to learning how to do jujitsu to straight up fighting a guy. So I mean, I think I did all right. I didn't run away, so I'm gonna give myself props for not screaming like a little girl and running away. So I didn't do great though.
Yeah, a lot of people, and I'm not trying to talk down to you right now or anything like that. You seem to understand that what you did was probably not the best course of action. But a lot of people, they don't realize that a fight is not something that's just like it's not like a cartoon. You see somebody
Oh, yeah.
like in a cartoon, they get punched, and it's like I'm watching. The only anime I ever cared about in my entire life is Yu Yu Hakusho, and I'm actually watching it right now. I just started it again last night. I'm on like episode like 4 or 5 now, and
Right.
it's like a classic anime about fighting and stuff like that. And there's this episode where like one of the characters has to he's not allowed to fight. He's gonna get in deep shit if he ends up fighting. He goes to school, and this guy is just like
Yeah.
getting beat up by everybody because he refuses to like fight. And it's like, nah, dude, like you don't just take ass beatings like that and then you're just like fine. That's not what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get my ass beat terribly either. I should clarify, and I left out of the story. I'm sorry I'm telling it so butchered. I was all prepared, and then I get up here and I'm getting a stage fright kind of. But a big part of the story, and that's actually the context of the picture. But I guess I'm doxing myself. I don't really care that much. But the middle picture is me the night before the fight, and again, this is kind of a long roundabout story. But me and him had kind of become buddies in the week because I was there for a week, and we
Yeah.
decided we were going to climb this mountain. It's not really a mountain, but it's kind of like their version of a mountain because Curitiba is kind of on an elevation, so they have some peaks. I mean, where I'm from, I wouldn't call it a mountain, but a really big hill, I guess you could say. It took us a couple hours, but we were there like way past when we were supposed to, and it's the middle of Jaguar country, and we didn't have any firearms, obviously, because it's not it's not allowed in Brazil. So I kind of find the picture, the context for the middle picture is me. I had him take a picture of me. It's the middle of the night. It's Jaguar country. I know I have to fight him tomorrow. It's super late. We're like super tired because we were hiking. Semi lost, semi not lost. And then right after that, we had to drive to the bar and drink because I got invited by his jujitsu club because they were like his buddies. And they were being nice. The Westerner came, is going to fight this guy and train with him. So they invited me to this drink, and I'm not going to say no. I mean, it was a huge honor. But I ended up getting like fairly hammered that night. And the fight that we had planned, me and him were the only ones who knew about it because, again, we were doing this to get without the blessing of the dojo because, the liability. We were basically both drinking, and then the morning of the fight is when we went at it. So we definitely weren't in top physical shape. We were both hungover, pretty tired from the hike, and fairly miserable because it was freaking hot. So it wasn't as glorious as a spectacle as you might imagine. It was mostly just two fat kind of jack dudes swinging at each other and huffing and puffing and sweating buckets. But I'm glad I did it.
Well, I'm glad I'm glad you had a good time at least. Hopefully you kept training and you're still training.
Yeah, no, I'm still I actually scheduled to fight another dude I know over Discord. He's in Germany. I've kind of been using it as an excuse to like have something to train for, have something to travel. Just I don't know, keep me entertained, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, shit, man. Fucking have a good time. Just if you want to travel, you should probably just travel. You shouldn't be traveling to get into fights with people that you're probably gonna lose to.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you in theory, but again, a lot of these guys I've kind of become close to. Like we've had this mutual bond. Like we've been through the ringer together, and we kind of trust each other. That like we've kind of seen each other at our worst or will. It's kind of I don't know. There's something special about it. Maybe I'm just overly romantic, but I hope there's still kind of some like gentleman's game left out there. I don't know. You can't duel anymore.
Well, you can. You just don't tell anybody about it.
That's a good point, and that's why I've left the dojo out of my story here tonight. I don't think they'd be too happy if they found out what we did. But
Yeah, yeah.
they were cool people. I got they were really neat. It was cool because I did about 4 months. I had about 4 months to learn a martial art, and I just chose jujitsu. So I did 4 months of like U.S. jujitsu, and then I did like 3 training sessions there, and the difference was really crazy. At least just personally, that was my personal experience. It might be different for someone else, but I
Yeah.
noticed the U.S. was like really wrestling influenced, like a lot more than I thought it would be. It was really, at least the dojo I trained at was really influenced by like upright, like standing game, shooting, all that type of wrestling stuff. And then when I went to the dojo in Brazil, it's like they didn't even start standing. You started on your knees, and you were like, there was none of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Jiu-jitsu kind of had its time, and now it's I mean, obviously jiu-jitsu's still good. I'm a brown belt, and I'm probably going to be a black belt like on the soonish side. But
Oh, righteous,
even
man.
then, like when I open up my own gym, or when I have my own gym, I don't even think I'm gonna teach jujitsu in the way that I do now. Like I'll have classes, but it's mostly gonna be something different than what it is. I'm
Okay.
working on trying to get my own little thing together. But yeah, like the training, the thing about jujitsu in Brazil is like they're really really good over there. It's where
Yeah,
the
they
art
are. They
yeah
are.
it's where the art started, so naturally they're gonna be like really good at it, and even like their lower guys are still gonna be like insanely like good. But um that is like that is kind of how America has kind of had its own say in the whole grappling world, because
Right.
America, we have catch wrestling. That's like our own version of jujitsu, except it's more like collegiate wrestling. And I've actually been studying more and more about that as of late. And there's also something called luta livre out there, which is instead of it just being based off of judo, it's based off of catch wrestling and judo. So you're gonna get more of like an American style out of those guys who do luta livre. It's just funny overall to see the all the cultural differences and stuff like that, and how it really affects everything.
It is.
I think American grapplers are gonna be better off in the most general sense, but like Brazilian grapplers are typically gonna be like really fucking good.
Dude, it's honestly, again, I speak as someone who is not an expert, but to me, it seemed a big part of it was just the physical conditioning. There was no like, and I don't want to throw shade at anybody in America practicing jujitsu, but like, even my dojo is considered quotation marks hardcore for America, and the stuff they do for conditioning is laughable. I mean, okay, 20 push-ups, you run around, you do this. I mean, at the one in Brazil, I mean, you had freaking, they didn't care if you were a woman, if you were like younger, older. You had to spar everyone, first of all. like bottom line. Everyone had to have the go at each other.
Hmm.
And then after that, I mean, the conditioning was just brutal. I mean, it was like I'm not in crazy good shape, but I'm usually like, for an American, Amerifat, I'm in decent shape. But yeah, it kicked my ass. I mean, they had a guy there was in his 50s who was playing with me like I was a mouse and he was a cat. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's yeah. I learned from a lot of Brazilians. My current black belt is an American, but he's, now that I'm thinking of it, the only American that I've actually like learned from. And one of the more recent ones that I learned from, he used to have us warm up for like 20 minutes, and the warm up would be conditioning. We'd do like,
Yeah.
we do that standard jujitsu warm up, the running in circles thing, but then we'd just start conditioning right after that, and then I want to say like the last 15 minutes of class, he'd be like, "All right, everybody, time to finish the warm up." Which just meant I'm gonna kill you some more. And yeah, it's really something. I can't wait to get out there. Like I can't wait to get out there because I want to train jujitsu out there. But also I found some luta libre schools, where my wife is from, where we're gonna be visiting when we do go. So I'm excited to kind of get in there and see how they're a little bit different from regular jujitsu.
Dude, congratulations. That's awesome, man. I really wish they had I could find something here that teaches it like that. I know that's kind of a LARPer thing to say. You guys don't teach it like the real Brazilians, but I mean it's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish I could find something that was that hardcore, but like you alluded to earlier, and this is just my humble opinion, I feel like a lot of it is because of the popularity of no-gi and all that stuff, like the tournament stuff. I feel like a lot of dojos, including the one that I attend to, which it has its ups and downs, but I feel like they kind of saw the market for that. So like I saw a lot of classes. Like I started going right around when that Ryan Gordon or whatever got really popular, and like all of a sudden it was like every night was no-gi, and they were getting all these new people. They were trying to make sure everyone was like, they were basically kind of milking it for the money, I guess, because of the popularity. I don't know. It felt cheesy to me.
Yeah, I mean it's a combination of the fact that jujitsu as a sport has grown. Like when I first started a little over 10 years ago, you did jujitsu so that you could fight in MMA. That's what you did. I've only had a
Yeah.
couple of black belts that I've trained under that have not fought in MMA. Like it was a rite of passage as a jujitsu guy to at least have one MMA fight to make sure that your shit could work under pressure and you could work under pressure. Um, and Now
Hmm.
jujitsu as a sport, as an industry, has kind of grown apart from what it was originally associated with. And there's that, right? And since it's a
Okay.
different dynamic and there's different rules and things like that, everything is, kind of shifting towards that. But then in addition to that, there's a lot of people who are weekend warriors, which like there's nothing wrong with this at all. Like everybody should know how to fight, even if you're not trying to be like mad hardcore about it or anything. But you have a lot of
Yeah.
people who like the idea of having to go hard at anything ever is like antithetical to what they want to do. And jujitsu is sold as something where it's like, aha, hey man, yeah, surf jujitsu, haha, everything's just chill, man. You come in,
Yeah,
you
it's like
give everybody a
hipster.
big hug, you roll around, and then you go home. And it's like that's not what it was supposed to be. The Gracies were a contentious bunch. They learned to fight and immediately started fighting everybody who looked at them wrong. You know.
That's how great warriors are made. Like that's how the Spartans were. That's how like everybody who's wanting to fight is. They want to fight. That's in their blood. That's what they do. I totally get what you mean.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to say before we pull the next person in?
No, I used up a lot of your time. I appreciate you letting me kind of tell my stupid little story and talk about jujitsu. But yeah, closing comments, man. I love your channel. I'm really glad that I found you through Sam. I think that's true for most people, but I've come to enjoy your stuff kind of on its own. So I don't know. Thanks, man. Thanks for making cool stuff I like to watch.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy you like it, man. Thank you very much. Peace out.
Yep. Take care, bro. Peace out.
Ah, I got this one. I kicked him out. I kicked him right out. He didn't leave. I kicked him. All right. I did it. I did it this time. All right. We got one more person in the waiting room right now. If anybody wants to jump in, if anybody feels like talking about anything, asking questions, you need advice on anything or whatever, feel free to jump into the Discord server that is linked in the pinned comment. And if you are already in there, feel free to jump in the waiting room. All right. When you jump in the waiting room, you're going to go into the call order channel and you're going to put a 1 in the chat so that I know what order. I need to know what order to bring you in. All right. Excuse me. Jeez, I'm drinking this Coke here. All right. I'm not dehydrated anymore. So what's the first thing I do? I reach for a Coke. I reach for a soda so that I'll be dehydrated again. That's the way it works for me when I get like this. I like training purely as a high energy spurg and the energy it seems to expend. But woman fights are boring. Yeah, and Jessica, there's like absolutely positively nothing wrong with just training to train, right? There's zero wrong with that, and in fact, it's a very good thing, What I dislike is you used to walk into MMA gyms, right? And you could tell who was going to stay and who was not going to stay. You could tell who was going to show up and they would stick around for maybe a week to a month and then they'd dip the fuck out, right? They would be out of there, right? But now you have this weird situation where it's like there's people who are not compatible with fighting that are clogging up places that are for fighters, right? And this is why it's kind of important. Excuse me. This is kind of why it's important to have like different classes sometimes and things like that, like a beginners or a fundamentals class, and then like a class for people who are taking it more serious, right? Years ago when I first started teaching, right? This is like about 10 years ago, probably, when I first started teaching at my gym. There were these 2 women who used to come in, and they were the types of women who they were not interested in actually losing weight or getting in shape. They weren't interested in learning how to fight or anything like that. They only came in because they thought I was cute, and I think my coach was like doing something to get them in there. There was something, right? Something that some kind of arrangement that they had, right? So these 2 women were in there. They were in like their 40s, maybe 50s. One of them had a son who I was only like 4 or 5 years older than, right? They come into my class and I'm trying to teach actual boxing and I'm trying to help people to get in shape and things like that. And every time I open my mouth, these 2 are just talking over me. Every time I have people do something, they're like, oh, right? They're just being disruptive as shit, And I do think martial arts are for almost everybody. Not absolutely everybody, but almost everybody, including middle-aged women. Middle-aged women should be able to get in shape using kickboxing, and they should be able to learn how to defend themselves using the same stuff, obviously, right? But one thing I absolutely cannot stand is people who show up to my classes just to fucking sit there and talk the whole time and not do what I'm asking them to do. And then when I'm like, hey, like, come on, let's go, they hold it against me. I'm being a coach. I'm doing my job by being like, hey, come on, keep going. And they're like, oh, well, Scott makes me a little uncomfortable, right? And that's the type of shit that those 2 women did. That one of them was worse than the other, but they would always show up in pairs. They would always show up together, right? And that's the issue that I have is like, look, if you want to show up and all you're doing is just training to train, that's fantastic. That's a really good thing. I'm a big fan of that, right? That's what I do right now, right? I'm not exactly getting ready for a fight. I'm just training to train. I don't even know when my next fight is going to be, right? Not that I even really train like that anymore as of right now anyway, but details. Bottom line, there's nothing wrong with just training to train, but don't act like you want to train and then show up and like be a fucking dickhead, And then there's the other guys who like they do the what do they do? Oh yeah, they do jujitsu like twice a week. They do jujitsu twice a week, and they call it jits. And they act like they're warriors and shit like that. They share the warrior in a garden posts or not? Well, yeah, posts pictures on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And it's just like, shut the fuck up, you fraud. Shut up. Pipe down. It's people with big egos who are not actually interested in training that I have issues with, right? Don't show up and waste my time. I don't expect you to be the best ever. I don't expect you to absolutely positively keep up with people who are like half your age and who have been doing it for longer than you, right? But I expect you to try. And I expect you to not distract other people. And I expect you to not be a shithead. Right? That's my expectation. That's all I want out of anybody who shows up to my classes. I don't expect you to be able to do a crazy thing, some kind of crazy technique or anything like that. I know that you're going to do things wrong, and that's why I'm here, is to try and help you to do it right one day. But don't waste my time, Scott, it's stern but fair. Yes, you will not like me, but I am fair. I won't even bother looking for it, but we're gonna bring in the next person in a second. And also, Caesar, thank you very much for the $10. Much love, homie. Thanks for hearing out my incoherent story. I gotta bounce, but have a good rest of the stream. Hey, you're probably not here anymore, but thank you very much for the $10 and thank you very much for coming in. What was I going to say? There was a video, right? And I think this is kind of like a small meme that's going around on Twitter, is like middle-aged white women will do anything other than cardio. And you're seeing like all this weird stuff. Like there was a bungee cardio class or something like that. There was also, they had these yoga balls that they were using with drumsticks. It was basically like a cardio drumming class. They were right, beating the hell out of the balls with the drumsticks, and they were doing weird lifts with their legs and stuff like that. That stuff doesn't work. At least it doesn't work the way that they think it's gonna work. Especially when they're taking in like 2,500 calories a day, 3,000 calories a day, right? It was just some of the most non-workout shit that you've ever seen. And it's like, truthfully, I'd rather see women doing that than coming into my class to waste my time. And I almost posted that on Twitter, but I was like, nah, because I don't need to. I don't need to. I'm trying to make sure my Twitter stuff is trying to make sure my Twitter stuff is I'm trying to do Twitter a little bit less. I feel like I'm on Twitter too much, and I feel like I'm arguing too much and giving my unsolicited opinions on stuff too much, and I don't like that. I don't like that. Do you split the training into Tai Nin and Genjutsu, or do you combine into missions? Into missionary? I combine it into missionary, buff. Alright, we're gonna bring the next person in. Hello. You are on the air. Hello? Uh-oh. I think he might have fell asleep. We'll give him another 10 to 15 seconds, maybe 20 tops, because I'm feeling nice today. And if he doesn't answer, I'm gonna put him back in the waiting room. But hello. Yo, what's going on, man?
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
What's good?
Hey, yo.
How you doing?
Hello?
You can hear me?
Yeah, is this Scott?
Yeah. What's good, man?
It's delayed on my other screen. Sorry.
That's all right. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm not doing bad, man. How are you?
Doing all right. Just living life. Doing my thing.
Chilling. Well, I was gonna ask you. I don't know. I didn't really have anything specific to ask you. I just figured I'd pull up, shoot the shit.
Okay. You have anything you wanna talk about specifically?
I guess I did. I don't know how. So I know what like your passion is fighting and stuff like that, but how like is that like this is probably a personal question. How does that is that like your main income? Like or like do you have like another job outside of that or like how do you like battle getting through every day and all the other crap?
Yeah, I'm actually a prostitute. That's my main job.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, I'm a sex worker. I do high class stuff. Not one of those. I'm not a streetwalker. I do house calls, sir. No,
Well,
yeah,
salute to
I
you.
have another job. Yeah, I mean another job. I have a main job. I'm currently in the process of trying to get things figured out as to where I can either inherit the gym that I go to currently, or start my own gym over the next like 2 to 3 years. Um, and I mean, I don't know what else there's to say other than that. I feel like I have more to say, but I don't know what it is. But yeah, that's my life.
Yeah, I mean, you don't gotta get too personal. I guess so. I guess how does that like affect you, like health benefits wise, like life? I don't know. Just like I look at life with how what I do, and I'm just like, yeah, well, I don't know how I'm gonna sit here and afford insurance for me, my wife, whatever, um, and pay the bills, benefits, etc. Um, I don't know. It's weird trying to like get into a certain groove of things in life sometimes for people.
Um, no, I get
And
I get what you're saying.
this might
And
be a
that
little personal. I'm not trying to be like, "Oh, do you have a 401k? Like, what? How's that work out? Blah blah blah." Or have you break that down to me? But
I mean, I figured you meant in terms of like when I do try to start my own gym. I mean,
yeah, and
the thing.
that too.
Oh, okay, yeah. The thing I try to remember is that this life thing is not as complicated as people may think it is sometimes. Myself included. Sometimes I forget. At the end of the day, the principle remains that you just have to make more money than you spend. That just is what it is. And
Yep.
a lot of people, they tend to think in terms of, oh, I need to make more money to support my lifestyle, or to get the lifestyle that I want to get in the future, right? um and I mean, yeah, sure, it can work that way, but what works far more often is keeping everything as low as possible, meaning your overhead, the day-to-day stuff. Not living in a place where it takes like 60% of your income just to make sure you aren't thrown out onto the streets and things like that. And that's kind of why, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, if I wanted to, I could start a gym tomorrow. I just have to find a place and then throw some mats on the ground and I'm good, right? I could start a gym with like probably $15,000, which I don't just have. I would have to get it in the form of a loan, but
I get
um,
that.
at the end of the day, like, all you have to do is just do things. Like, sitting here and thinking about like, oh man, but it can't be that easy. No, it is that easy a lot of the time. You just gotta go places and ask questions and things like that. But not it's not like it's a quiz or a test or anything like that. You just got to be like, hey, how can I do this? Hey, I want to do that. Can you help me? Um, what was I gonna say? And oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Duh, I veered off in another direction. My bad. But like, I could start a gym tomorrow if it came down to it. But the issue is what I pay for rent, what I pay for car insurance, and other things like that. It's a little bit too high for me to feel comfortable being able to make that move right now. So part of starting the gym is also getting myself into a situation where I'm not gonna have to pay as much monthly. You know. Um, that way, if anything was to be, well, for one thing, it's going to be that much easier to survive off of a gym salary when I own my own gym and I'm just taking home whatever I don't have to put back into the business. But then in addition to that, if it was to fail and I was like, I had to like get the hell out of there, close the place down, and hope and pray that I'm not like having to pay off any weird debts and things like that, then
Yeah.
it's not like I
Underwater
couldn't
and
get
shit.
another job and like be pretty flush, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I look at my life that way right now, and yeah, it's relatable. But yeah, I guess that's I'm kind of like, I gotta wait a couple of years to get there at that point, maybe, and I don't really want to wait that long. I'm hoping that things kind of fall into place where I know that I don't need to deal with stuff like that, but I don't know. I guess life isn't that bad to the point where I gotta worry about it so much. I got stuff to worry about. We all do, but I don't know. We just gotta keep on going. um,
Don't one thing I want to say, don't wait. Don't wait a couple of years.
and that's what a
There's
lot of people
something
tell me.
there, and I don't mean just go ahead and do it now. No, I don't mean that. What I mean is be preparing now. You want
And
you
I'm
want to
trying.
be you want to be prepared enough as to where, and it doesn't mean you're gonna have every little thing fall into place. Like I'm looking into getting some. I have like a 4 or 5 page document just laying around. I don't know where. It's me and my wife. We're talking about options for being able to get into a house or some other equivalent shelter where it's not going to be like mad money per month, and then also after a certain point we'll own it, right? Now I'm not going to be ready to do that for at least a couple more months, and then who knows, there may even be a complication that makes it so we have to push it back further. But the bottom line is, when it comes time for me to do it, it's not going to be something where it's like, okay, it's time to do it, let's start now. No, I'm already way in the middle of doing a lot of things that I needed to do for like preparation and research and things like
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
and all I'm gonna have to do is just pull the trigger a couple of times, and then we're gonna be in a place, right? Now, like I said, things go wrong. You know, you make miscalculations and things like that. But like, you know, don't it the way you said that, it sounds like you're not actually really thinking about it in terms of like it will happen. Just more like you're like, oh, I'm waiting, and it's like, nah, you
Well,
can't wait for things. You gotta, excuse me, you gotta chug a soda
You're
until
good.
you burp on stream.
Nah.
You gotta get your shit together now, so that when it does come time to do it, you'll just be able to do it without any complications.
Yeah, so for me, it's some things with finances, and then other than that, man, like I'm pretty ready for a lot of other things. I have a lot of stuff, a lot of my ducks in line otherwise, but uh basically just kind of trying to be ready for it. Money wise, I'm assuming my credit's kind of there, but money is definitely always a factor for everybody in this world, and being prepped with that. Not everyone's got cash strapped to them, but I don't know if, I could probably figure something out, but it's just I want it to work out, and the preference where I know it's not going to be pressed on me so much.
Yeah, just keep at it, man. You know, and don't be afraid to think outside the box. You know, you'd be surprised at how many things are out there that you've never considered. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, I've ran that by like one of my friends, and he was like, "Oh yeah, well, you don't want to just do one thing." And I'm like, "Well, what if that one thing puts me in the right position, and then I expand upon that?" And he's like, "Oh, well, you don't want your business to be based on that." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, if that gets me in the right position to where I want to be, then I expand upon it. It's not the end of the world if I have to rebrand, re-logo, whatever I got to do. I want to look out for myself just the same as anyone else does in this world. And obviously, I'm not trying to be selfish about it, but I want to be there for myself and, the people I care about and, whatnot."
Oh yeah. Nah, you're gonna get it figured out, man. You know, fucking. At the end of the day, the only bad thing that happens to you is you die. You know.
Yeah.
Um, Everything else, any day above ground is a good day, and I like to believe that because of that fact, fucking, Um, even the things that are setbacks and things like that, it's like, well, in 5 years you won't think about it at all.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Oh, no, I don't know what keeps you pushing forward towards your goal, basically of being the dojo master. No, I'm joking, but what keeps you pushing in that direction? Obviously, like it sounds like you have a very like healthy family life, and maybe not a healthy family life, but your wife is pretty good with you and your wife and whatnot.
My
What
my
keeps you
wife is good
going
with my
to
wife.
get through work every day and the tussle of the mundaneness of living life, I guess.
Um,
And
Spite. I'll be honest with you, spite. There's a lot of people out there who don't want to see me do well.
I
Um,
get that.
and there's, that number has actually, although the amount of people who want to see me do well has increased drastically, especially since, I ended up getting into the stuff that Sam brought me into, right? But even with that, the amount of people who want to see me not do well has also increased. Also, has also increased. Also, um, and
Which is pretty wild, but that's not my business.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. At the end of the day, like you don't want to base your entire personality and things like that around people who want to see you do bad. That's not necessarily a good thing. But also, like, um, I've always been very defiant of people who want to do harm to me, and I don't just mean like physical harm. I mean any kind of harm. My bosses at my work, they want to do harm to me. They want me to do all their work for them. They want me to be at their beck and call at any given point. And because of that, I got into an argument with my boss the second day he came. I've been at this place for a while, a new boss comes in and starts trying to like crack the whip on me, and it's like, he's trying to make me into his bitch. And I had to tell him, like, dude, no, I ain't doing that. It ain't happening. Like I had to tell him off, which I'm not saying anyone else should. I'm at a point with this place where if they got rid of me, I'd be like, fuck it, we streaming every day now. I'd see what I could do.
Yep.
Excuse me. But like people want to do harm to me in one form or another, and I will not allow them to do harm to me by harming myself, by giving up, or I mean sometimes literally like harming myself physically. Why would I want some dickhead
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
is going to
Yep.
be happy about that to
Yep. And I'm
know?
looking at the chat, and this one dude's like, Scott, please more details. And I was working with my boss today, and he's telling me about how his body's shot and how he can't do certain stuff. And we're working in a lab running fucking some crazy shit that I'm not gonna dabble on too much. But besides the point of that, he's sitting here telling me that his body's shot, blah blah blah. He can't do stuff, and I'm like, dude, like I'm trying to like rebuild myself, not be broken for the rest of my life. I want to be able to go outside, go on walks, go fishing with my wife, go on walks with my wife, grow as a person. And I'm freaking not even 30 years old yet. And I will be soon. But besides the point of that, it's just like messed up to sit here and like hear that from someone and then be like, oh, well, you got to keep going. And it's like, I get it. Yeah, I got to keep going and I'm going to keep going. But um, for you forever, and I get why people leave here. There's not as much opportunity, and there's a lot of shit everyone's gone through. I get why people have left here, whatever. I don't know. It's just uh you eat a lot of shit working for people when you can do when you can do a lot more for yourself.
Yeah,
And it's hard to move on from there, I guess.
yeah.
sometimes.
you got to keep on going until opportunity presents itself, and a lot of the time that opportunity is going to be self-created as well. You're not just gonna you know, that whole anime you know, being called to a quest thing is complete and total bullshit, you know. And that's something that I've always kind of understood is like, hey, if I want something, I just got to kind of go and like do it. You know, there's so many things that I've been able to do that they didn't come because I'm special. They came because I was like, you know, I wonder what would happen if I sent this guy a letter. You know, I wonder what would happen if I did this or that or the other thing. And then also, like I said, there were times where like I thought it was over. It was over, done with. Like that's it. I'm screwed. That's it. I don't even. It was so over. I didn't even know how over it was. Right. I just knew it was over, and just because I had no choice but to keep going. Because what are you gonna do? Your choices are live or die. Right. And you should always choose live 1,000% of the time. Like it's I think back to those times how desperate I was and how like awful I thought things were going to be and stuff like that, and turns out it's not even like a footnote in my life, you know. It's stuff that like I remember it out of nowhere and I'm like, man, I completely forgot that even happened. And then I'm like I'm thinking back to it and I'm like, I thought that was it. I thought I was going to be homeless or this or that or the other thing, but no, I was fine, you know. You just got to keep on moving forward and don't do it because like somebody else wants you to do it. Do it because you want to do it. And whatever little games you have to play, you know, like play them because the spite thing, that's my game. I know it's a game. And I'm aware it's a game because when I do fail at something, I don't get upset and think, oh no, those people who hate me are going to think I'm stupid. No, I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, who cares? What do I care what those people think, right? But like you have to develop your own little mechanisms to get through the day when you're not doing that well, you know?
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of where it's just like this one guy's like, oh well, this guy works a lab job and he's super soy and he plays with test tubes all day and watches computers run, and I'm just like, okay, dude, well, what the fuck do you do for a living? This guy's never picked up a shovel in his life. Go fuck yourself. But
Yeah, don't worry about
besides
the
the
chat,
point
man.
of that guy, yeah, I've done plumbing, I've done HVAC work forever. I've freaking had to pick up fucking 1,000-pound boilers with just 2 to 3 other people. And I wouldn't even say maybe 1,000 pound, but fucking like somewhere close to, I don't know, like a million BTU boilers, fucking trying to move them through buildings. I don't really care what anyone says, but besides the point of that, I just think it's funny that this one other guy, and I can relate to that. He goes, I've quit so many jobs without putting my 2 weeks in. And I respect that because, like you were saying, sometimes, you know what? You got to do what you got to do to look out for yourself, move up. At the end of the day, a lot of people are going to take advantage of you. And it's not cool to really take advantage of them. But, okay, I was an engineer. Cool, don't care. Besides the point of that, I walked 11 miles a day with what? Freaking a bunch of feathers on your fucking back? Don't care, dude. Besides the point of that, though, I did not say 1,000,000-pound boilers either. I said freaking 1,000-pound boilers.
Look, man. You got to wrap it up because right now you're just arguing with chat on my stream. So,
Well,
you know.
besides the point of that, like I said, freaking, like you said, take advantage of people who are taking advantage of you.
All right. Peace out, man. Be nice, chat. Be nice to people, chat. Okay? All right, be nice. Play nice. Yeah, I mean, one thing, and we got 2 people in the waiting room as well as a very special guest in the waiting room. He's going to be brought in 2 callers. All right, but one thing I've learned, and this is something I've had to continue learning over the years, because me, I was always I was very honest, and I was also someone who was willing to fuck himself over if it made other people happy. Um, you have to, you have to look out for yourself. Bottom line, it doesn't mean you have to fuck people over and things like that, but you have to look out for yourself. And when you look out for yourself, people are going to be a little bit upset about that. They're going to be a tiny bit upset about that. And it's because when you're looking out for you, you're not looking out for them. And there's a lot of fucked up pieces of shit in this world who think that you have to look out for them. A lot of managers have this thought process where it's like, what do you mean he's not doing everything that I want him to do constantly? What do you mean he knows the job better than me and he's doing what he needs to do the job, instead of just doing what I want him to do all day? And that was the issue. That was part of the issue that I got into with my boss a little while back. Is like, this dude comes in, I know the job. I'm running this place practically, right? I know how to get the job done. He comes in and he starts trying to tell me how we're going to do things now. And then he sees me on my phone for 2 seconds. And he's like, oh, you can't be on your phone, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, dude, I was on my phone texting somebody because I'm trying to figure something out. I'm running math here so that I can do this job better. Like, I had to let him know, like, back off. And since then, the guy has backed off. Because, I don't know, he doesn't seem like a bad guy by any means. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. I actually don't hate him. But I needed to let him know, like, yo, I know this job better than anybody does. All right? I don't need you telling me how things are going to go. And I don't need you up my ass because I stopped for 2 seconds to pull out my phone to send a text. All right? Knock it off. Like, I had to do that. Because if I didn't do that, then it would have pushed me to a point where I would have been like, yo, you know what? I don't even care anymore. Fuck this. Fuck you. I'm out. I quit. That would have happened, right? I kind of learned that I can't just be a yes man to my boss all the time. I have to figure out where the line is, and I got to make sure I don't cross the line. But I need to know where the line is as to where I know, okay, I need to tell this guy, like, dude, knock it off. You're fucking with me right now. Don't fuck with me, or you're going to be one less employee, you know? You'd be surprised if you're someone like me. You'd be very surprised at what you can get away with, right? Because me, I was raised to never, ever, and under any circumstances, talk back ever, never, never, ever to a teacher or a boss or anything like that. And because of that, I was enslaved practically for years by a bunch of different jobs. I was basically their fucking slave and things like that. And when I realized, like, wait a second, this dude's not going to fire me for telling him no. This dude's not going to fire me for telling him to leave me alone so I can do the job. He's not going to do that. That'd be insane. And, I learned how to do it properly. Of course, there were examples where I fucked up and I went a little bit too hard. I might have said some things I shouldn't have said in ways I shouldn't have said them. But when I learned how to do it, things got better. But anyway, let's go ahead and get the next person on.
Oh, shit.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, Scott?
Nah, then what about you, man?
Oh, same shit, different day. I was actually just chatting up with Greg a little bit.
Yes, sir. I see Greg's in the waiting room. I was trying to make it a surprise, but you spoiled it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Damn it. Oh, shit. But yeah, no, I guess I kind of want to talk. So I took I don't know if you remember, but I was in one of the older call-ins. And I talked about my my dumbass friends who don't do shit in their life.
Yeah.
And I kind of took some of your advice. I kind of stopped hanging out with two of them that just do fucking nothing. And like they would like text me like, "Oh, dude, we should go drink," and I'm like, "Nah, I'm busy. And it's like, eventually they just stopped, like quicker than I thought they would. They just stopped fucking texting me. I was like, "Damn, shit, that was quick." And it's like, well, my life is still good, so I got my other friends. Yeah, keeping on going. It's good advice. One less thing I guess I didn't need to worry about.
Well, I'm glad
But,
to hear. Oh no, go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead. No, that's cool. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
No,
That's why I started talking.
I was gonna lead into the next thing I was gonna talk about, but no, you go.
No, I was just gonna say it's good that things seem to be working out. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, things definitely are. At least for me, not for fucking Mr. Bagel Shop worker over there. But yeah, no, I kind of want to talk about, dude. I got this fucking coworker. I work in the solar industry. I'm a solar technician, and I got this guy. He's 38, no licensed. He's been a temp worker his whole life, and dude, he's the biggest piece of shit I've ever worked with. But it's a bitch because he's also like the funnest guy I've ever fucking worked with. You know, I've gone out drinking with him a few times, but when it comes to work, everything he's done, I've had to redo. I've had to
Oh,
redo it entirely. And he hasn't noticed, but he's gonna get fired. He's gonna get fired next week. I
oh
fucking
man.
Oh yeah, dude, it's rough, dude. My boss told me that shit. And I was like, dude, why are you telling me that? I don't need to know that. It was, well, like, just so you could prepare the workload. I'm like, no, come on, dude, don't put me in that fucking position. But yeah, no, I mean, he sucks. Like he couldn't. We almost fought. We almost fought first week we worked together because I would just ask him to do something because I'm a licensed guy and he's technically an apprentice, and I would ask him to do stuff, and he
Uh,
just wouldn't do it.
did
And I
you
was like,
ask him to
dude,
get the light bulb repair kit?
I told him to get the pipe stretcher. I told him to get the uninsulated wire nuts. But nah,
Yeah,
dude,
the
like
the bucket of ohms.
yeah, bucket of ohms, yeah, dude. But nah, he was like, nah, man, I'm doing this. I'm like, no, I get that you're doing that, but do this now. Nah, I'm doing this. No, you don't understand. I'm telling you to do this.
You are
And we're going back and forth. And
you
I'm like,
are the
dude, like, if you're not,
trainee.
yeah, man, get a training. Like, if you're not gonna listen to me, go home. Go home. Or go call fucking boss man and tell him why you're not listening to me. And he's like, man, I don't wanna, man, you a bitch, Mike. You a bitch. You a bitch. I don't listen to you. I'm a grown. He's a black guy from Worcester, by the way. That's why I'm doing the accent. I'm a grown ass man. I don't even fucking listen to you. I don't even listen to you. And I'm like, yeah, you kind of do.
I don't know.
You kind of
That
do.
sounds like a typical it sounds like a typical Italian accent to me, man. You sure
Yeah.
this guy isn't named Vincenzo or something like that?
I don't know, dude. I'm horrific at accents. I'm fucking awful. Nah, he's black as the day is long, and like I can't do his accent justice, but like he is straight out of it. Like he's full Ebonics all the way. Talking to him is like makes me want to put a gun in my mouth. But he's cool to hang out with, which is the bitch. Because like we'll go out drinking and shit. Like we actually I'm a little bit tipsy whipsy. We just got back from doing some drinking, and I'm like the entire time I'm like, I know you're gonna get fired. Fuck me. And you're out here blowing shit tons of money when you got a kid. Fuck me.
Ah, man, that's no good. Hopefully he gets
No, it
it.
ain't.
Hopefully he gets his shit together.
I don't know, man. It's been like 3 weeks. And he hasn't. Who
Man.
knows? I've always I don't know. I'm always been on the side of give someone a second chance, third chance, fifth chance, but it's a business. It's a business at the end of the day. Man. Oh gosh. I guess I got one other thing. One other thing that I really want to bitch about that just really fucking sends my ass sideways
Wow, what's that?
is I try to be a good little fucking boy. I try to steer away from the goy slop. I try to eat good and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't pig out like I used to. I've dropped some fucking weight, and I look at like the ingredients on the back, like, oh, this is full of bullshit chemicals. Let's grab this one. It's a little more expensive, a little more cleaner. And I'm in Market 32 or Price Chopper. Don't know what people call either one nowadays, but I'm like, I want pickled fucking okra. I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna go find some pickled okra. It's the only fucking jar. There's no other fucking jars pickled okra. There's one fucking jar. Like, awesome. I grab it. See what's on the back. Dude, it had a laundry list of fucking chemicals. Long, like almost as long, tall as the fucking jar.
Yeah, everything is processed today. Nothing is as good
Oh,
as it is supposed to be. You know, there's always going to be some
yeah.
monosodium glutamate,
Oh,
whatever. Fucking, you're never gonna escape it.
dude, it's like it just pisses me off. It's like it's pickled okra. It's vinegar, salt, and okra. And it's got like it had a red yellow, it had all of the shit. Red 40, fucking yellow fucking 50, all that bullshit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Oh, it just pisses me off. It's like like you can't escape it. You just can't. It's
yeah,
fucking everywhere.
yeah. It's no good.
Oh, it ain't. Fucking ain't, dude. It's a bitch.
Yeah,
It's a fucking bitch. But I don't know, that's kinda it. I think it was a little quicker than I thought. I don't know. But yeah, it's kinda it. Kinda wanna come in here and bitch a little bit.
all right, man.
You know.
Thanks for
Yeah,
coming
I'll
on.
catch you later, big guy. Yeah.
Peace out. All right, so we had somebody ask in the chat real quick. I want to answer this question. Uh, Scott, I've done everything to stop being mad depressed. Job skills, workout, lift, and get the quote unquote the job. I don't care about happy. I just want to be content. Is God the answer? If so, how do I just believe? I do think God is the answer, and if you want to believe, just believe. You know, um, don't overthink it too much because the shit that is out there is designed to get you to overthink things, right? Um, and this is the type of stuff you would hear on like a Moral Oral back in the day, right? If you watch Moral Oral, this is the exact type of stuff that they would talk about and stuff like that. But what is the other option? Right? There's two options. Either one, you just chill the fuck out and enjoy life, and you believe in God, and you don't worry about whether, well, it's not that you don't worry about whether it's true or not. It's that you don't worry about all the other shit that you are told apparently disproves the existence of God, right? Or you sit here, you get anxious, you get fucked up, and you become a miserable and intolerable person, right? It's those two options. Which one do you want, right? The people who sit there and they scoff at believers in anything, but especially in Christ, because that's really the one they have the big issue with. They don't mind Jews, they don't mind Muslims, Buddhists, etc., etc. They're all good with all that other stuff, right? Um, it's they just hate Christ. They hate us because we like Christ, right? We worship Christ. We've accepted Christ into our hearts. Um, like those kinds of people, they always end up as vacuous people. All they can do is criticize. That's literally all they have. They criticize and then they take the beliefs, or not even beliefs, but the examples of things that don't actually really prove anything about the metaphysical, and they try and use it to deny the existence of the metaphysical, specifically, Christian metaphysics. That's what they did with the theory of evolution and things like that. They like to point at evolution as though it means that there is no God, as though there couldn't be an all powerful creator that created these animals via evolution, right? Um, it's a situation where if you have to try to believe, for one thing, you're gonna be even more miserable because you're gonna be like, oh man, but I want to believe, but I can't, right? Um, and then in addition to that, you're just gonna constantly find like weird shit that when you actually think about it in a critical way, it doesn't make sense. Like the whole theory of evolution thing, supposed to the whole theory of evolution thing in a roundabout way disproving God, right? Uh, it's just going to be a bad spot for you, right? Now, I'm not someone who doesn't believe in science or anything like that. Obviously, I believe in the water cycle and the theory of evolution, right? Natural selection and things like that. I believe in that stuff. But to me, it's just the miracles of creation that were set into motion by God is really what it is at the end of the day. And I can sit here and I can look into all this stuff, but when it comes down to it, how much does that actually disprove the existence of God, and how much does it prove the how much does it prove that there is nothing or something different after you die? Nobody knows, right? So why would you become like a shitty person over it? But I'm you kind of caught me off guard with that question, right? Because typically when people say, "Is God the answer?" They're not also asking, "How do I believe?" It's like, the answer is to just believe. But if you could do that, you probably wouldn't be asking me how to do it, right? Bottom line is, if you're having a hard time believing in God, you're probably overthinking it to a degree that is not healthy. Because that's really what it is. There's a reason why r/atheism is considered to be such an insufferable place, and there's a reason why the neckbeard atheist was a thing all those years ago, is because those types of guys were all around everywhere all the time. That's just the way that it was. That's the way they were, right? So you got to kind of look at the situation here, right? And you got to look at the kind of person that is spawned from each of those situations. And you just gotta you gotta realize that you're probably just overthinking it at the end of the day. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I could answer this in a better way. Maybe I'll have to do like a quick video on it sometime after I organize my thoughts a little bit better. But just to reiterate, don't overthink it. It's all right. Even if you're wrong, what does it matter? Right? And also, now that I'm thinking of it, half of the thing with Christianity isn't even necessarily the belief in Christ. That's the entirety of it. Don't get me see, now we're getting into a weird situation where it's like I want to say certain things to sum things up, but also summing it up is not going to be good, right? Because there's other aspects of it. But Christianity is not just belief in Christ. That is probably the most important aspect of it. It is the most important aspect of it, right? But in addition to belief in Christ, there is also a code that you are meant to follow. And you'll notice that when you follow that code, you naturally end up becoming a much more content person. Your life becomes a lot more simple, and you're not constantly dealing with fucking bullshit. And that's another thing that really, when I stopped fucking around, there's a hair caught in the back of my throat. It's not in my mouth, it's literally in the back of my throat, and I can feel it. That's why I coughed. My bad. Fuck. Sorry about that. That's so frustrating. I hate that I can feel that right now. But if you follow what Christianity actually teaches, you will become a happier and more content person, and your life will become a lot more it'll just be easier. It'll be easier, and you'll be able to live a more fulfilling life that is not going to constantly be bogged down with stupid shit, Because when I look back at a lot of the issues that I had in the past, a lot of the times where something went wrong or, somebody was fucking with me, if I had just followed the teachings that Christ and the Bible laid down, handed down from on high, if I had followed those lessons, I wouldn't have had to deal with the person who was fucking with me. Because I wouldn't have been in the situation where they were in the first place, Good people don't tend to hang out at bars all the time. So if I go to a bar and I get into a fight with the barfly, it's basically like going to the circus and being mad that I saw a clown, right? I shouldn't have gone to the bar. I should have stayed home and did something different. Even if I drank, I should have drank at home, maybe with a close group of friends that I know I'm not going to get into a fight with. Right? Just as an example. Mike Tyson, right? Mike Tyson, he went away for R-word charges, for grape charges, right? And the thing is, if he was not trying to fuck bitches, he wouldn't have been in a situation to be accused by that woman who accused him, whether he did or did not do it. To this day, he claims he didn't do it. And if he was falsely accused, that's a travesty, right? But also, he put himself in the situation to be falsely accused when he took that woman up to his hotel room, right? Just as an example. But we're going to go ahead. Excuse me. We're going to pull the next person in. Hello?
Baba Booey.
What's going on, Greg? How you been, man?
You Scott?
Yes, sir. You're
Hell
Greg?
yeah. Well, your name, The Man, it kind of caught me.
Yeah. I don't want to be instantly recognizable to everybody on Discord, so you know.
No, I think that's a pretty good call, but I just want to make sure that I wasn't talking to like a mediator or somebody.
Yeah, you're talking to my stunt double.
Yeah, you know, the guy in between the waiting room and in the call, just to make sure you got pat me down.
Oh yeah. How's
How
it
you
going,
doing,
man?
my man? Doing all right. Just got off a stream earlier. We hit our dono goal. It was pretty epic.
Nice. That's really good to hear. Speaking of which, I'm sorry to do this real quick, but somebody super chatted me. I got to read it. Kaisar for $10. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for coming back. Scott, evolution is not real. What you're thinking of is microevolution, which is just pre-written genomes adapting, not the writing of new code. This is what Darwin observed. Nothing more. Full stop. That's an interesting that's interesting, right? That's an interesting take, and I'd love to talk more about that later. But right now we got Greg. All right.
Yeah, I was hearing all about that, and like I think I've been pretty outspoken about this, and I'll drop it right after this. But I think everybody's open to their own religions and stuff. I think it serves a lot of good points in life. You know, giving people hope, giving people direction, giving people happiness. You know, ain't nothing wrong with religion. As long as you're being a cool dude about it, being civil, then you know, I respect all people of all religion.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about religion in the most general sense, you know, including Christianity. And regardless of what the religion says, I don't think you know, I don't think practicing the religion in the form it was meant to be practiced in and not being like overly combative with people are mutually exclusive, you know? Like, there's a lot of things in Christianity specifically that, like, a lot of people find to be distasteful and things like that. And it's like, well, I mean, what am I going to do? Not follow those things? That's the religion. My soul is on the line here. But just because I follow that, just because I hold that belief, it doesn't mean I have to be an asshole.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, for sure.
I think people on both sides they kind of you know, I don't want to get too political here, but like the homosexuality thing, right? What Leviticus says about like gays and stuff like that is like, you have one side where it's like, well, you're only a good Christian if you don't pay any attention to that at all. But then there's also the other side where it's like the Westboro Baptist Church types, and it's like I don't think it needs to be either of those. You know, I think I can be cool with gay people while also like still following Leviticus. You know, like I think that's all right. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what we were told for the most part. Right? I could be wrong, you know, I'm not like a scholar on the Bible. In fact, I'm actually trying to get somebody who's going to be better read than I am on here to talk about that. But it's just I think you know, I think at the end of the day there's a lot of people who they don't understand and they don't want to understand, you know?
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes from the rewriting of the King James Bible. It's got a lot of things misinterpreted, rewritten and stuff. But generally, even if you have the belief, the Bible also says treat everybody as your neighbor. So whether or not you feel a certain way, you should still treat everybody with respect.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, I think overall that's the way to win hearts and minds in the first place. You know, is to not be running around screaming in everybody's faces and stuff like that. You know, fucking at the end of the day, like, it doesn't mean you have to take crap. Like, that's the other side of it that I am not a fan of, is when, like, you'll get people, especially on the internet, you know, they'll be like they'll just straight up be talking shit to you, and you'll be like, dude, shut up. And they'll be like, whoa, hey, that's not very Christian of you. That's not very Christian of you. And it's like,
they'll just find scapegoats of anywhere they go. But like I said, personally, if it makes you happy, it gives you purpose, it gives you hope. Like I said, I think it's a overall goodness, as long as you're not bringing down everyone else down.
oh yeah, no, I agree.
Me personally, and this might be a little bit of controversial. I used to be Christian, but then I switched over to agnostic just because I'm not a big fan of having that direction in my life. I like to feel pride and feel direction in my own way. I like to live my own life. That's not to bring down anybody who does want direction or something. It's just that, that's the way I've chose.
Yeah, you know, and everybody has to figure things out on their own, you know. Well, one thing I think a lot of people don't realize is that there will be a final judgment. You know, after Revelation, right? And people, like, whether you go to heaven or hell, after Revelation, you're going to be judged finally. So you could end up in hell, but then you end up like, God's like, nah, actually, you're cool, right? So there's one thing that I think a lot of people misunderstand about Christianity, insofar as, like, you know, judgment and things like that. Really, and that's kind of where the whole only God knows what's in a man's heart thing comes from. You know, is like, even somebody who goes to hell for one reason or another, like, well, they may have just been ignorant, or they may have just been acting in a way that is ultimately forgivable, you know? But even outside of that, it's like everybody kind of has to figure things. It's like I said, everybody has to figure things out on their own. Like me, like, I wasn't a Christian for a long time. I kind of became like a weirdo spiritualist. You know, I smoked a lot of weed and meditated. That's basically what I was. And you know, eventually I came back to it. You know, but if I didn't end up leaving and then coming back to it, I probably wouldn't have the understanding that I do now. So, in a way, it was almost kind of a good thing that I left for a while, you know?
Yeah. As a big ups for that. But however it goes, I'm not more worried about living my life as it is right now. But I think that's it. And neither here nor there.
Yeah. So what else is new, Greg? You want to talk about anything specific?
I ain't got anything specific, but I will bring up some points. I've been trying to figure out how to get a good boxing area around it. But everything in my area is like 20 minutes away, and I can't drive. So it's like this boxing thing has become a real annoying thing. But I keep doing my VR boxing, figuring out new things, trying to work on my flow and style. But obviously I can only do so much, and I'm on a diet right now as well.
Nice. That's good. Yeah, if the sooner you can get to a gym, the better. If I had to give you any advice right now, and the thing is, you're gonna end up having bad habits, right? Bad habits are gonna form. That's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
But like, take it nice and easy. Like, I know in the middle of like an actual like VR boxing match, right? You're gonna want to win, so you're gonna go like hard and stuff like that. But if they have like a sparring mode or something like that, take it nice and easy. You don't have to absolutely try and kill the thing every time. Go like, I don't know if you're watching, but like, like you can go like that quick. We call that learning speed, and the reason we do that is because when you go quick, this can sometimes turn into that. And you want to just you want to get as many repetitions in doing the proper form as you can,
Yeah, for sure. I've been in VR. I've been doing something like that. They come with their own like little speed bag and their punching bag and the what's the word? The little man on the stick.
Man on the stick,
That type of,
the Bob dummy.
yeah. Again, I've been dealing with those as well, but like I said, I used to be like super just hit as hard as possible, but after the whole fish tank thing, I've been trying to focus more on waiting for my opening, covering my face, and just kind of looking for the right time to hit. Obviously, I still hit really hard, but not so hard where I hurt my shoulder anymore. Because I used to like overstretch my arm a lot when I punch.
Oh yeah, yeah. You definitely got to be careful with that. Shoulder and then elbows are the places that are really gonna you're gonna start to feel it.
Yeah. I've also been trying to lean into these punches more often.
Oh yeah, throw more weight behind them. Yeah, that's
Instead of just punching my whole arm, I'll punch with my body instead.
yeah, definitely try and turn everything into it and squash the bug.
Yeah. Obviously, VR boxing can never be real boxing because you don't actually get the real feedback of getting hit in the face. But it's the best I got for the moment. And like I said, I'm trying to figure something out, but I'll keep you aware of how it goes.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, Hey, let me know.
Hell yeah. As I ain't got nothing else to say, so unless you got anything to say, I think I'll let you get on with it. I just wanted to give the people a little cameo, and I wanted to talk to you.
Oh yeah, Greg, it was good to hear from you again, man. We'll have to figure something out so we can stream together soon. I got a bunch of stuff going on, but I'll try and get organized ASAP, and then we can pick like a day a day or a time, a day and a time.
Yeah. No, I already have it written down. I have stuff planned out to do with you, but since your day is Friday, and this Friday is the D&D. Hopefully, fingers crossed. If things don't go wrong, then I was gonna try and get it for next Friday.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, just keep me posted.
No problem. You have a great day, Scott.
You as well. Peace out, Greg.
Peace out.
It's always good to hear from Greg. Greg's just like a really nice dude. You know that? Fucking really cool guy. You guys should definitely watch the D&D stream. I don't think I'm gonna be involved in that, but like you guys, like 1,000%. Make sure you watch that D&D stream. I'll figure out what time his stream is gonna be, and I'll make sure that I don't stream at that time. In fact, I should write it down. I was like, if I remember to do that, it's like, well, maybe I should just remember to Oh, one sec. Hold on. Hold up. Nope. That is all good. I have so many notes just chilling on my desk. Greg D&D stream out of I actually picked somebody out of order, right? This person was in before this guy was. All right, let's go ahead.
Oh shit.
Yo.
Oh shit. Hold on.
What's good?
So I was watching interrogation videos.
Oh yeah?
I gotta turn something off.
So, how you doing, man? You're live.
Oh, am I? Nice. Yeah, I've got my voice changer back on because I don't want people knowing my real voice. So, just in case the chat was wondering. So is this another just talk to you session? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, it's a torture session.
Okay.
Good, man.
Actually, I'm pretty interested in. Wait, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask what you wanted to talk about.
Well, actually, it's funny because you brought up like the whole religion thing, and I don't know if you want to talk about exchanging like conversations about that as well. Do you want to hear my thoughts about the whole topic?
Sure, go ahead.
So, Um, I don't have I don't necessarily have a problem with religion as a whole, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it's fine to exist within humanity. This is speaking like a broad spectrum, right? Like impartially, and an objective like opinion of it. Um, but what I think is that I think it's fine to exist for as long as humanity exists, so long as we take the positive attributes of religions and absorb them. Well, not absorb, but allow people to exercise those rights. And it should be it should be a human right to exercise our religion, so long as you're not extra like you're not you're not like I would say extra no not extraditing, but you're not exporting like chaos across the world. Because you know how like during the early periods of human history, relatively right, you had a lot of people you know, launching crusades, you know, and that's not, that's also, this is something you brought up, how people are very arrogant about religion when they talk about it. And why it's really arrogant because what people do have experiences as well. Like they bring up like one particular thing, maybe in the Bible or verse, and they say like, oh, um, oh well, see, the religion brought the Crusades and people killed each other, and they make it all about the negative things that this particular thing brings, and it's kind of like a straw. I don't know if you'd think it would be called a straw man. Would you call it a straw man?
I mean, I think a lot of people straw man religion and things like that. You know, everybody's always using it for their own, you know, their own beliefs, agendas, and things like that. And that's something that you know, as I've gotten more and more into the philosophical side of religion, because that's really my wheelhouse, is the philosophical side of religion. If somebody came to me with like a Catholic question, I'd be like, right? You know, and that's why I want to get someone from Hallowed, the band, on, so that we can talk about that. We can have a day where anybody who has questions about Catholicism specifically can get them answered by somebody who knows a lot more than I do, right? But I mean, everybody's using it for their own agendas and things like that, and at the end of the day, the second somebody says, I think, right? I think, or I want, or I feel, there is a 99% chance that it's going to be some kind of bullshit that is specifically opinion based. It's opinionated, right? That's just the way that it is with a lot of people, and that's why I think a lot of people are doing things wrong, which I know I'm saying, like, I think, I feel, but I'm not saying anything about the religion specifically. I'm just saying that I feel a lot of people, they put their opinions first, and then they use religion to kind of build something around it. It's like progressive Christians. There's a reason why progressive comes before Christian in that. It's because the main concern of these people is progressivism, and they're using Christianity as a way to try and push that onto people. You know, it's probably the best example that I could currently think of right now.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I don't know about people like. I think yeah, I think I get what you're trying to say, but I don't think like saying a certain phrase really means that much. But I think I'm guessing you're just trying to amplify the point of what you're saying. Like certain people will use certain tactics to like get their personal bias across, you know, because I say I think a lot, and I don't necessarily think it's because I'm wrong or at all. But I've with with Christianity, it's and Catholicism as well. I haven't read the entire Bible. I haven't. I'm not a profession. I'm not very completely not educated in every aspect of every religious sect, every religious text, and I don't pretend to be. But I think there's a lot of questions regarding the history of humans. But the Bible brings in. I do like the fact that you take a more philosophical approach towards religion, because religion is very philosophical. It's not so spiritual in some ways. They're two separate things, right? And I agree with that as well. But the biggest problem with the religion of the world is the institutional religion of component. And you have sex, and centralized religion is incredibly bad because it's creating these institutions rather than these groups for people to worship things, for their own benefit. So you have so I personally wouldn't want to have any involvement in like a specific church, because these are all groups that have been created by people. There's no God coming down and saying these are the groups you should stick with, right? And people have their own philosophical interpretations of religious texts, right? So you have all these church. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. When in reality, they don't really know what they're talking about either. The Bible really is just it's obviously it's a component of multiple different scriptures combined into one. That's the subjective part of the Bible, and we really don't completely know exactly what's true and what's not. So, you don't really, people don't really know. People can't, all these religious institutions who claim they know the exact, they know everything. They don't know everything. And that's why religion itself is more of an individual thing. And then you grow into big groups of people. And then that's why, and that's why there's so many different groups of religious people, different sects, different institutions, because of that component, and it drives into those areas.
Yeah.
But I think one of my main points is the institutions are very bad for religion in general when they're forcing people to capitulate to their own biased understandings of the Bible. So I'd probably ask you, I should ask you, because I don't want to just go on about what I think. I would ask you, do you think you would like subscribe yourself to a like centralized church? Like, would you join a bigger group and then just suddenly capitulate your own philosophical and religious understandings of the Bible? Would you just believe everything they say?
Yeah. That's of course, because fucking at the end of the day, this is not just some hippy dippy. Oh no, it's okay. Everybody has their own interpretation, and everybody's at least a little bit correct. No, there is a right way and there is a wrong way. I considered briefly. I'm not saying I put like a ton of effort into it, and I will admit that part of the reason why I identify as a Catholic is because I was raised as a Catholic for most of my young life. Or a large chunk of my young life. But like at the end of the day, this is not some hippy dippy everyone can be right thing. There are people who call themselves Christians that are completely and totally wrong about what the Bible has to say on a multitude of different things, right? And there is somebody out there who has the right interpretation, or at the very least the closest to right interpretation. So when it comes down to it, and this is, I'll be honest with you, this is one of the reasons why I have a hard time going back to a Catholic church, is because even though I do believe Catholicism is the way that I need to go, it's hard for me to find a church that is not some form of corrupted. And I don't just mean, an earthly form of corruption. I mean like a weird political form of corruption where there's certain flags on the outside of churches and things like that. If you catch my drift, white pride flags outside of churches. I won't stand for that. No, sir. But look, at the end of the day, the buck has to stop somewhere, and you have to make your decision. If you're gonna be like a drifter, not a grifter, but a drifter, you're never gonna end up finding a home, and you're gonna end up dying of exposure one day. And I'm not saying that, like, hey, even if you choose Protestantism, you know, at least you chose something. Like, no, like, again, like, according to my own belief system, it's Catholicism or nothing. Ortho bros, even they are like, no, like, they got it wrong, you know? Um, this is by design. We kind of have this belief system that, like, it's to each their own and things like that. And it's like, well, yeah, to each your own if you want to go to hell. You know, that's literally the way that it is. And I can understand that you may have a little bit of apprehension in the same way that I do, right? I'm apprehensive myself as well, but you do have to make a decision at one point or another. And that decision can be based off of logic, it can be based off of reasoning and philosophy and things like that. But regardless of the decision you make, when you make that decision, you have to wholeheartedly throw yourself into it. And that includes certain things that I may not have known. Like, I didn't know that it was actually against canon law for a priest to tell a husband that that his wife is cheating on her. Him, fuck. Like with confessionals, right? If you tell a priest something, right? They are not allowed to say anything about it. You could go to a priest and be like, "Yeah, I murdered 5 people." The priest is not allowed to tell the cops. He's not allowed to. If he does, he damns his soul for eternity. Like that's it. That nothing more to it, right?
But why?
Huh?
But why? Like why? Because that's like why? Because why do they do that? Like why is that a rule in the Catholic doctrine?
Well, because
If
if you tell a priest something, it's being told to him in confidence. You know, that's actually one thing. I was listening to a PKA episode the other day, and they were talking to Wendigoon, who I'd love to talk to him about religious stuff too, because he's someone who I know I could probably have a good conversation with regarding like philosophical ends. You know.
Yeah.
I'll have
Just
to, what's
just
up?
to interject.
Yeah.
I think he would be a good source to go to because he's very subjective. He's one thing that made me really like the way he addresses it is he pointed out the whole Dante's Inferno thing is not canon.
Yeah.
It's a play. Like if you want a more factual and impartial, and that's funny too. I don't know if he is religious or not. Is he religious?
He's a
I
Sunday
think
school
he is,
teacher.
right? Is that what is that? What do you mean a Sunday school teacher?
Sunday school?
Is that like a religious thing?
Yeah, it's a real it educates you on the workings of the religion.
But is he religious? Like is he subscribed to it?
Yeah, he's a Southern Baptist. So
Alright.
he's going
Well,
to hell. He's
yeah.
going to hell
Oh.
whether he likes it or not too. It's Catholic
yeah.
or nothing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he would be a good source because he's got a canon. He's got an understanding of interpretational design, and he's got an understanding of like the whole. He's very subjective, right? But
Yeah.
that's not saying he might not be biased in some areas. You never know, right? That's really up to everyone else to decide. But I see that he's subjective.
You see, to be honest with you, it sounds like you're trying to ascribe the perfection of God to man, not directly but indirectly, as to where you're like, well, I will not make a decision because nobody is perfect, right? Everybody is biased and subjective and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, you're correct, and I understand where you're coming from. Again, like, I don't go to church mainly because I'm like, fuck, man, like, I don't want to go to a cucked church, right? But on the other hand, you do have to kind of make a decision at one point or another, you know? And that's kind of when people talk about the Catholic Church and things like that, it's like I don't pay too close mind to it. Like, obviously, I don't condone the things that happened, you know, that came to light, obviously. Like, that is despicable, right? But like, it's men, it's mortal men who are no different from me. Of course they're gonna be fucked up in one way or another, right? Of course they're gonna do some fucked up shit. So for me to sit here and be like, oh well, I'm not gonna go to a Catholic church anymore because some other people who were associated with the church, they did some fucked up shit, or they believe some things that to me are not that they don't feel good. You know, I want to be able to drink whenever I want and fuck bitches all the time. You know, and that doesn't feel good that they're telling me I shouldn't do that. So because of that, I'm not gonna bother. I'm not gonna go. You know, like it's vacuous. You know.
So what was the first thing you said? Like the first thing you said?
Ascribing the perfection of God to man, and because we don't end up living up to that, you have decided that you are not going to follow anyone.
No, I don't think that you should I don't think that anyone should just not be I don't think anyone should not subscribe to a certain sect if it's just because of some bad things, right? It just depends on what you're trying to decide. And I never said that you should just never follow any sect if it's got negative things in it.
Okay.
I think if you look at the positive thing, because it correlates with what I said at the start. The there's negative aspects of a lot of centralized sects in that, but I didn't say you should never join those. You should never be a Catholic just because what they've done a lot of bad things, but also individuals do a lot of bad things. You know, if a soldier commits a war crime, he doesn't necessarily represent the entire community. Yeah. So if I don't say something specifically, it's not my point. But the point of why I said that about those aspects is because people do need to be aware of it. And people do need to be aware of the negative things that come from certain sects. But it's not collective, unless the specific doctrines are. And then you have to come into question if you're really a Catholic or you're really a Christian, because they follow certain things. You have to follow a certain doctrine to be that. Like it says, it is there. See that this is a contention I have, which I don't understand, because it says in the Bible, there's certain Bible verses it says like don't worship idolatry, right?
Huh?
But worshipping a cross is idolatry. So I don't.
Well, we don't worship crosses in Catholicism, though. Like
yeah,
I don't
turn
turn around and go, that is Jesus. That is literally Jesus right there. That's an icon that I use to signal to other people my faith, right? And then in addition to that, it also brings me
if
comfort.
you're worshiping it.
Huh?
Depends on what you're doing with it.
Well, I mean, I'm not doing anything with it. It's just kind of on my wall.
Yeah, but if you worship something, like if you're worshiping an idol, it's not recommended in the Bible, in those Dead Sea, whatever that came from.
Okay.
If any Catholic is doing it, then is that inherent to the Bible? Because then they have to come into question what they're actually doing, if it's pious or not. But I think I'll read some of the verse where I got that verse from.
You don't need to read the verse, man. We got to kind of wrap this up because I got more people coming in, and I got to get off this soon.
Okay. Yeah. Well, is there anything you want to briefly say?
No.
Because my main points were that there's a lot of problems in institutions. I don't think just because I point out negative things, you have to drift around and never find somewhere. You can find a place that's good. I mean, you can find a Catholic church that is good for you, right? People will find what's good for them. Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. Thank you for coming on.
Bye-bye.
Peace out. I didn't expect to get into such a deep conversation or anything like that. That would have been a good conversation to have, like, in the beginning, you know. I'm sure the guy's still watching. You know, I didn't mean to just be like, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. You know, fucking. But I do want to get these last two callers. We had 3 callers, but one of them ended up leaving. But yeah, I mean, I'm not like angry, but it did bug me the whole like, cause that's a misunderstanding about the cross. Like, I don't pray to the cross. I don't. I look to the cross for comfort in more ways than one, specifically that one. That's the only crucifix that I own. I don't own any others, right? And the reason why I have that is because it was basically a family heirloom, if you want to call it that, right? It was passed down to my grandfather by his mom, and then I got it after my grandfather died. So that it's very important to me, not just because it's Christ, not literally Christ, but you get what I'm saying. It's also a familial object that reminds me of my grandfather who passed away less than 3 years ago, right? But even if I was like crosses everywhere, I wouldn't be praying to the cross. I wouldn't be worshiping the cross or the depiction of Christ or anything like that. It would be as a way for me to signal my religion to other people who are like me and other people who may be curious about it and want to know more, and they could come to me and I could be like, hey, you should go to church, you know? And it's also a comfort thing for me. When I look at that thing, not just because of the whole like familial thing, but when I remember that Christ has got me, when I remember I've accepted Christ into my heart and that I'm trying my best, right? I'm failing, but I'm trying my best to live in the way that I am meant to live in, then it brings me some comfort, right? It brings me comfort, you know? That's different from, bow down to the depiction of God, you know? Because that's what the idols are. That's what idolatry is. It's not just that it's like a depiction of a god. It's that these people back then tended to believe that it was literally the god. The god. Right? That statue was the god. But anyway, moving on. I got 2 more, all right? We're going to go ahead. We're going to take these 2, and then we'll, I'll chill for another minute or 2. I won't just, like, get the hell out of here right when the last caller's done, but, we'll probably call it quits after that. Hello?
Oh, man. All right. Let me preface. I talk to Hollow Dan every day. Okay?
You talk
to Hollowed Dan.
Oh. I thought you said Hollow Dan. I was like, Hollow Dan? Who the fuck is that?
Hollow Dan is one of my best friends. And he tells me to go to church. And what you're saying is on the East Coast, everyone is cucked out at your churches. And that scares me because I'm in California. And I've tried to go to church. My girlfriend's at church right now learning about, it's Holy Week. It's Wednesday. She's learning about the Last Supper. Okay? I fell in love with the Old Testament listening to Jordan Peterson's podcast lectures. Let me preface, okay? And every time I've been to church, the priest has been woke as fuck, bragging about private jets, bragging about being kind to tweakers on the street, bragging about talking to the lesbians in confession and having sympathy. And I tried to go to another church, and I just got pedo vibes right away from the guy speaking. I was like, everyone is weak in California. In my opinion, I live in California. My opinion, the weakest Catholic churches are in California. All right, they don't sing Latin mass. They don't know how to use the organs. And I hear you complaining about the East Coast churches. And I think at the East Coast churches, according to Hollowed, everyone is like of age. They're relatable. They speak English. But in California, every Catholic church is elderly people or people from fucking different countries. And it scares me, so you're saying in Long Island, is that where you're from? It's just cucked out, like it's just done?
No, I'm from Massachusetts, and the thing is, like, I haven't been to a church in a long time, but I've heard things about churches, and unfortunately, from a lot of the Catholic friends that I do have, they don't seem to give good explanations of, like, some of the cucked aspects. Like they choose to just kind of ignore it, which I guess on one hand, it's like, well, what are you supposed to do? You're gonna march up to the priest and be like, Father, go fuck yourself. Like, of course not, you know. But it's
but
tough.
like when you go, you're pissed off when you're there, and you're like, what the fuck am I spending my Sunday here doing?
Yeah. It's like I said, like I think there is a lot of misunderstandings about what the I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about what the Bible says about a lot, or it's not necessarily what the Bible said. Well, there's a lot of people who they take things and they twist it, whether purposefully or accidentally, right? And I like to believe that I have a firm enough grasp on the language and what a lot of things mean to understand when a priest is saying something that some people might take as like cucking, but really it's just, an extrapolation of the love thy neighbor thing, right? But it's something completely different when I'm walking around and I see a church and it's got like one of those again
Rainbow flag.
Yeah, one of those straight pride flags. One of those straight
Love-
pride
love-
flags that
Love flags.
Huh?
Love flags.
Yeah.
Yeah. The love trumps hate.
Yeah, those it's two different things, and that's kind of what I'm afraid of when it comes to churches. And I mean, honestly, like I'm kind of the idiot for not at least going and giving them a try, right? I should at least give them a try.
You're gonna give them a try, and you're gonna be very disappointed.
Yeah, but it's one Sunday. Like I'm not completely I know that at the end of the day, if I just gave them a try and they didn't work out, at least I would know now, like, oh, okay, I'm with heretics. If I go here, I'm with heretics. I should probably not go here, right?
Yeah, but they don't really stick to the Old Testament, if you know what I mean. They don't really. They only fall at the churches now. Like my girlfriend's at this church, and they're pretty liberal.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
It's like I said, if you just give it a try, go one Sunday, and take it on a day by day basis, literally. Like that's what I do with karate. Is I go to a karate place every Friday, and the instructor, who I have to call senpai. Gee, I wonder why karate isn't that popular anymore. I a grown man, have to walk in and be like, "Hello, senpai. Notice me, senpai." But that's another conversation. Like she's a raging leftist, like she's one of those people who's like, "Hi, I'm Jenny, she, her." She's one of those people. She has us. She kind of plays into the indoctrination a little bit too. She has us introduce ourselves to each other, even though we know each other, right? We'll be in lines and we'll be like lining up for stuff, and she'll be like, "Oh, all right, say your name, your pronouns, and your favorite food," right? She's doing that to try and aid in indoctrination, right?
Yeah.
I still go there though, because it's not that bad. But at any given point, it just takes one day of
Are you
her
going to
being
church?
like, "Actually, you're a straight white male." The
Are you going to
second
church
I
on
hear
Sunday?
any of that shit, I am fucking out of there. And it could and should be the same way for a church, because the thing is, the church in Catholicism is very, very important. But at the end of the day, and I could be, it's like I said, I'm more on the philosophical side than the dogmatic side. And dogma is a loaded term nowadays. I don't mean it in a loaded way, but when it comes down to it, like, the church is not Christ. The church is not God. So if the church is trying to have you do something that's insane, that is against what is laid out, then you don't do it.
Are you going to church this Sunday?
Am I going to church this Sunday? No.
But dude, it's Easter.
Okay. What, you
But-
think Jesus doesn't know a fair weather friend when he sees it? You think Jesus doesn't, like, "Oh man, I just bought tons of beer. I posted about it on Instagram, and now Scott's hitting me up to hang out. Huh, that's weird. He didn't want to hang out yesterday when I had no beer."
You're like me. You're just a lazy cat.
Yeah, if you want to call it that, sure.
That's what they call us. I mean, dude, if you get Hollow Dan on here, I think he would be. I don't think he'd be. You realize he's pretty like aggressive with his beliefs, right?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, that'd be funny, dude. I think you should have him on like the next stream, honestly.
Yeah,
I can.
I hit him up and I want to I hit him up and I want to have him on soon. You know, we've wanted to do it for a while, but I'm just autistic about like scheduling and stuff like that. I'm bad at it, and that's why I missed out on streaming with a lot of the season 1 contestants and things like that. I still regret that. I gotta stream with like Sylvia again if she still does that, and other people. But like I'm gonna hit him up and I'm gonna have him on soon, or either that or I'm gonna be on his stream, or we're gonna do something, and he's gonna school me and everybody else on Catholic doctrine.
Man. Dude, he's pretty mean. He's pretty mean. Just saying. Just warning.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, dude, I can make it happen. I could hit him up right now. I can literally call him.
Yeah, no, I mean, you don't gotta call him or anything. Just tell him that I was talking about streaming with him.
All right, for sure. All right, man. All right, now one more thing, since we're talking about the church. What's your favorite movie? RoboCop, Mad Max, or Waterworld?
I've never actually seen any of those.
Holy shit, dude! Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's
all I know about RoboCop is that it's a guy who he got fucked up by Red Foreman, and now he's
Dude.
more robot than human.
Dude.
And he's a cop, hence the name RoboCop.
You gotta watch one of them at least. All right, man. I'll let the next guy go.
All right, man. Good to see you, man.
Take care.
Peace out. Yeah, like the thing you have to understand with me is that I'm more apt to understand the philosophical ramifications of certain things from Christianity. And that's what made me come back to Christianity, is that a lot of things started making sense to me when I started looking into them and understanding them more. And that's also what turned me away from many other religions and things like that as well, is because I understood the philosophical ramifications of the things that they were doing and saying. And most of the time, if not all of the time, it was just complete and total bullshit. I told you I was like a shithead spiritualist. That is just a vacuous, absolutely nothing line of thought or way of being, right? And you see these people like Shannon Blake, the one who she was going around on Twitter months ago, and she's been going around on Twitter like over the last couple of days. It's the chick, she's like a hippie chick, like absolutely crazy hippie. And she's talking about, I was drinking ayahuasca in Peru, things like that. There is nothing behind that woman. And like, I don't say this to be mean. Like, I'll bet she's a lot nicer than I would even give her credit for. But like, there is nothing behind her. It is just drugs. That's it. Nothing at all. Islam is literally just like, hey, worship Allah or you will be smited. And that's not the right way, It's a little bit too human. It's a little bit too earthly, And I won't get into everything else and stuff like that, But yeah, it is what it is, right? Talking to Hallowed, right? That would be good because he could get the other side of that, which is the dogma, And again, dogma is a loaded term. When I say dogma, I don't mean it to be like a pejorative or anything like that, But anyway, we're going to bring in the last one. Hello? Hello? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Hear me?
What's up? How you doing, man?
Good to see you. I'm glad I'm the last man standing.
Yes, sir. How's
To
everything
address
been
your-
on your end?
All right. So far, it's about more or less what you've been talking about on this chat, and kind of just reconvening and licking my wounds, so to speak, spiritually, mentally, physically, even with this whole move. You know, it's like not everyone has the luxury of moving out to the, where they want to go, or even where they think that's specifically Christian. What I've felt like so far with this whole journey of where it's taken me, I'm sure that you've kind of come to it yourself, is that you kind of have to you have to use the level of discretion to know people and get around town, so to speak. Like, if you're in a church, right, you can't entertain some of these people like the other guy was talking about that's like completely woke. Like, back then, they just boot you because they don't have the time of day to hear about some guy dating his stepmom. It's up to him to end his charade and actually be forgiven by a priest and pray that off. But honestly, people reconvening and separating themselves off of that is kind of a good thing. It's like we needed to get rid of this like chaff of people that are basically the spiritual equivalent of Dreamy Bull, but don't even have the time of day to shove a cucumber up their ass.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like you, if you're just gonna accept everybody around you constantly, you're always gonna be in a weird situation where like you have to put up with shit that you don't want to have to like do, or see. And I think that's kind of the happy medium, right? Where it's like, especially nowadays, where the second you look at somebody who has certain features and things like that, certain characteristics about them, the second you look at them wrong, all of a sudden the world's collapsing in on you. There has to be kind of a happy medium between like, all right, I'm not gonna deal with this person's shit, and excuse me, and like I'm absolutely like there has to be the middle ground between I'm not dealing with this person's shit, they need to shut the fuck up and get away from me, and oh no, it's totally fine, they can do what they want wherever they want with whoever they want, who cares if there's kids present, right? And it's something that a lot of people have a hard time with. I think sometimes it can be a prideful thing, but then other times it's just like, people don't know how to exercise that discretion, you know.
And more often than not, when we talk about the churches back on the coast, right? Like, our main complaint is that you have all these older people that don't really care so much about the faith and kind of view it as like a community meeting place. And I mean, yes, it should be the community place, but we should also establish our relationship with God. I think like my priest actually had a good point about this, where it's like we are a community of people and not the crowd. And I think it's more so of a crowd of back at home, where it's the same kind of crowd that's it's a Bible phrase they use, Bible quote they use. It's like the same crowd saying Hosanna, but the same crowd also asked to crucify Jesus, like some bipolar lesbian.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's like we're
No, go. Go ahead.
No, where it's like more so of establishing ties with ourselves and our own relationship with God, but at the same time we have to look out for one another. That also means that we aren't the world's doormat for every other person that wants to take advantage of our generosity.
Oh yeah, 100%. They say fences make good neighbors, and part of that community building means that there's going to kind of be a natural fence that is erected, and it's going to keep out all the bad shit. Any of the good stuff can come in, right? But the bad shit is not going to be able to get in, and that's why community is that's why community has been one of the big things that has been attacked over the last 50, 60, probably even 70 or 80 years, is because they understand that if there's a community full of people who they have each other's backs, there's no way they're going to be able to inject their dumb shit into it. And I think that churches have a lot of oh man, the word is escaping me. Potential. They have a lot of potential if they play their cards right, and unfortunately they seem to be playing their cards wrong, because They're trying to appeal to the wrong people, you know. Um, churches would rather try to win over people who will never be won over, people that hate them and will always hate them. And even if they give those people everything they want, they're just going to be like, hey, thanks. I still fucking hate you. Now I have all your shit and I'm trying to kill you still. You know? The churches need to stop trying to make Christianity into something that it's not. You know, they need to. You know, I won't drone on too much longer, but it's like that episode of King of the Hill with the youth pastor. Hank's like,
Oh yeah.
you're not making Jesus cool. You're just making rock and roll lame. You know, like that's the type of shit that they try and do, and it's like that's what
Right.
that's why everything's fucked up, and that's why it's just all old people who, you know, they view it the same way people view senior centers.
Right. At the end of the solution is actually, honestly, just taking the time out of your day to just get to know other people and see what kind, like when I say practice discretion, you know, I'd say like see who you could find that you could entrust in the church. Get to know them, take your time. If not, you know, there's always more. Again, you know, when Christians had to deal with like retarded heresies that happened 200 years ago, think Arianism. We circled back to old heresies, like people just fucked off and just went somewhere else. Like nobody wants to listen to fucking monoticites try to claim that Jesus was a divine spirit energy thingy. Like, bro, I don't have time for that. And what I noticed with that as a solution of just walking out is that it's kind of like leaking your wounds and picking your battles and seeing what kind of people you could get to know. I mean, yes, I fortunately have the luxury of moving out and finding people that, you know, I quite like, and I find a community that I quite enjoy at my little local church. But not everyone's that fortunate to simply move, so I mean, if you gotta stay in place or where you can, find a community somewhere. I don't want to just be do the millennial thing and just be like, oh, let me talk about problem A, and not give some sort of solution to a problem. Because I feel like the whole point of people redeeming themselves nowadays is rather than bitch, at least try to chuck a solution at the problem. You know, it's still better than just being like, oh yeah, let me complain about this thing that ultimately has no effort in solving the issue. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you know, you need to try to at least fix the issue. You know, so many people, it's like you said, it's a very millennial thing to just sit here and complain about an issue. You know, and if you're not going to try and fix something, it's never going to get better. And it's better to try and fail than to not try and complain about it. You know.
Right. And again, I think another thing that I noticed with these church communities that it's always young people and families that are sticking together and forming their own bonds. Even if it's just single men looking out for, you know, friends, family acquaintances, you know, extended family. It's the demographic is still young because people believe in it. And I think that separation is what's needed, honestly. If you feel like you gotta go and you can't stay where you're at, you know, you don't have to move out super duper far. You know, I'd say check around. Because like the other guy was saying about churches in LA, well, you could always browse around like Northern California, but like a couple places in SoCal. You could even somehow make your way up a little bit further if you wanted to. It's not like you're limited by your geography, and I know that the traffic there sucks ass because it's a car-centric dump. But, you know, if you want to at least give it a shot, try searching around. And even if not, there's always people that you could talk to that you know personally in church. You don't have to be like, oh, hey, this congregation sucks, but I found one person that's actually worth my time. I could chill with him. I think that's more of an importance of God's commandment towards us to be cordial and friendly with our neighbors and to be, you know, honor our parents, honor our friends, and to be able to look out for them no matter what. Sorry if I'm not good at talking about my points. It's just my head's all over the place, and I sat through like a good 2 hours of the stream.
No, I get what you're saying, and I agree. You know, it's not just about going like the overt right? The main thing is going to be going to church because that's what we as Christians do. But in the meantime, even if the church is cucked to some level, if it's an acceptable amount of cucked, meaning like you can tolerate it, but there's people there that are good, right? There's a community to be had there that is not going to be cucked, right? What was I going to say? Then it might be worth it overall, you know. Now, obviously, if you can find a better place to be, you should go there, right? And you could even try and get your buddies to follow you along, because I mean, if they're not cucked as well, if they're on the same plane as you, then they're gonna want to find something better as well. But you know, it's like you said, you know, lick your wounds and try and take the good with the bad whenever you can.
And it's not like the situation is going to get worse with, you know, our church. The Catholic Church is like old, and I was talking with this guy in chat who was like, "Oh, why did the guy molest the kid?" And it's like, okay, you know, at some point, everyone that runs a divine institution is probably going to have really, really evil, fucked up thoughts and eventually do it. Like, when you have a history and a timeline spanning thousands of years, are people going to be surprised that someone tried to shoot someone in church over a dispute or something? It's like, no, it's like, I'm just baffled by the fact that people would split denominations over like shorter stories and shorter histories. But when the Protestants do it, they schism and they make another sect. When the LDS does it, they get the feds and just be like, nope, I don't know these people.
Yeah, it's like I said to that other guy, you know, not I don't know if he's still watching or not, but you know, people want an incompatible oh man, they want to believe that perfection can be found in people, and because they don't find that perfection in people, they never slow down, and they never settle down, you know. They just continue on their mission to find perfection, and it makes them into an island, because the only person they're ever going to think is anything close to perfect is themselves, right? We all, whether we realize it or not, I find I catch myself feeling that way sometimes, where I'm like, wait, why do I feel this way? I probably think too highly of myself. That's probably why I feel this way. It happened the other day, you know. But like if you're gonna be too particular, you're just gonna end up in a situation where you're even worse off than if you decided to just, you know, bite down on your mouthpiece and move forward.
And it's like, okay, you know, you had all this time to actually improve things on your side of the fence, and it's like, or even inside of the fence, and you've still wasted time to split the faith over something, you know, like shitty indulgences and rules. And it's like, why don't you just take over the damn place? It's like medieval kings had at least enough discretion to vote out, what was his face, John, one of the Johns. And this was a situation where they kind of had to call in the Holy Roman Empire to boot someone that was pretty much soliciting church funds.
Yeah.
It's like they had to call in the backup, and it's like, hey, you know what? It's like, I don't blame, you know, people for, you know, I don't blame people for being like dumb and like naive. I blame people being dumb and malicious and not understanding or caring about the consequences that come with schisms.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, a lot of people think they can do it better, you know.
Right. And I was talking about this a little bit. There's a certain bald guy, and no, it's not the bald guy who looks like that Somali from the movie where he tries to rob the ship, but I feel like he's made a point about, just in general, when people do very unchristian things, they don't think about it logically or rationally. They kind of just think of like, okay, let me do this evil thing, rip this guy off, but I don't care because I have money, but I vaporized a small town. That's kind of like the equivalent of the schisms, but times the schism, the damage caused by it by like 1,000.
Oh yeah, I've noticed.
I feel like.
Oh no, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, my only little add-on point to this is that like when we think about these things and it's like, yeah, the damage is done. We can't really eat up energy trying to just complain about the problem. I mean, we could try to solve it, even if it's not like, I'm in the Vatican for whatever reason, but I could solve my stuff locally. Anyways, continue on. My bad.
That's all right. I was gonna say that like I think a lot of people think about things emotionally, right? Which I mean, excuse me. Sorry, I'm burping up my dinner. But I think a lot of people think of things emotionally, and then they try and turn around and they act like they're thinking of things logically. Like some of the a lot of atheists, they just take their emotions and they slap science on it, right? They brand science onto their emotions, and then they act like they're thinking logically, and they're not. And the same thing happens with a lot of different kinds of people in a lot of different kinds of situations. Um, sure, it makes a lot of sense to me that I would want like to rob an old lady if I was hungry, right? It would make a lot of sense to me, but I'm not. Or you see, I'm using a bad example here.
You're good.
I get hungry. I decide I want to eat something. I see there's an old lady there with money. I rob her because I'm hungry, right? Like that's how a lot of people are. Is they're just operating off of base instincts that they then turn around and they try their best to rationalize in some way, shape, or form. Like if I got caught by the cops, they might be like, "Oh, well, why'd you rob her?" And I might have like 5 different explanations, including like, "Well, I mean, I just needed money for food. I needed money for food because I was hungry and I was upset and I thought that I might starve to death and blah blah blah." I might have like 5 different explanations for that. The mental gymnastics are like ridiculous. And I think that is what happens with a lot of different people, whether they're Christian or not, regarding schisms or just turning away or even towards the faith.
I think like a good solution, honestly, is to just unironically sit down, pray, even talk it over with a spiritual like authority, like a priest or a bishop. Again, when I say practice discretion, make sure that you know the guy and you're not just like talking to someone that's not going to give two shits about doing their job. And I mean, like, really think it over and really think what you have to say because it's their job to, you know, make sure they're guiding you away from hell. They're not like good at making close relationships due to the nature of their job, but they are more than willing to help to get to understand the problem and solution as long as you feel comfortable with doing so. And honestly, when I talk to them about some of the problems and some of the mental gymnastics that I've gone through with in my head over my journey, it's kind of just like, no, you shouldn't be worrying about these things because you have something to think about in the present. You can't be exaggerating too much about the future. You can't be exaggerating too much of the past. And you kind of just that was my little personal advice from him, and to just make sure that you have a plan in life rather than just thinking about all these negatives and the unknown. We sound like a friend that we know, but fearing the unknown is not something that you could waste time on.
Yeah.
And again, if I'm taken away from your show, let me know. But otherwise, that was kind of all my like talking points that I kind of gathered up from my time watching the stream. Unless you have anything else to conclude. So.
No, I mean we could go ahead and wrap it up here. I think that was a good talk. Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, not a problem. And if you can check your messages, I messaged you about some stuff, but whenever you can. I understand that things have been busy with the streams, IRL stuff, etc.
Oh yeah, no, I'll check it right when I get off this stream. Discord has always been weird for me. I never checked Discord in the first place, and then like I also get mad messages from tons of people. I'm suffering from success over here. Fucking. So you know, I might have read your shit, and I might have forgotten to get back to you. If so, that's my bad. I'll double check after this though.
Must be drowning in that money.
I fucking wish, dude. All right, I'll catch you later, man.
All right, catch you later. Peace.
Peace. That was a long time friend of mine. We actually were doing Bible studies for a long time. Unfortunately, we fell out of it mainly because of me. I've been so busy as of late that the time slot has become kind of tough for me, and I don't know when we're going to be able to do it again. But yeah, that's a long time friend of mine right there. So I was listening to people and I was watching the chat, and it almost looks like you guys are like fighting in the chat. I don't know what the deal is, you know. Somebody asked me what my astrological sign is. I am a Scorpio. And they said that's what the women were thinking. They called it. What women? There's no women in my chat. There's no women allowed in my chat. All right? If you're a woman, leave. Yeah, I'm a Scorpio. I was born November 15th at 12:21 p.m. Which, like, whenever I tell an astrology person that, they're like, "Whoa!" They think that's like funny, you know. I guess it supposedly means something or something like that. I don't know. Whatever though. We're having fun. I hope you're having fun. Bible study in the Discord would be great. Doesn't have to be ran by you directly either. Maybe we could get something like that figured out. But it's like I said though, for me personally, it'd be hard to get there every week. So, you know, it would have to be by somebody who could get here every week, and then I'm also not even going to be here every week. You know, anytime Christianity is brought up online, denomination wars occur. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They do. Musta, you're November 16th. I beat you by a day, sir. I beat you by a day. Are you going to be in season 3? I'm not telling you anything that I do or do not know about season 3. I'll say that much. But yeah, I'm probably going to get out of here. I streamed for even longer than I anticipated. I didn't think I was going to go for 3 hours. That's pretty crazy. I had a good time though, you know. I'm going to continue trying to organize these call-in streams specifically. I'm going to see if I can get certain you know, we're probably not just going to do call-in for the sake of call-in streams anymore. We're probably going to do call-in with either advice, like you ask me for advice, or certain topics, right? Like we're talking about religion. This one kind of inadvertently became a religious talk call-in stream. Talk about politics, even though I don't want to be a politics guy. Talk about music or whatever, right? Talk about some things, somewhere, right? We'll end up doing something like that in the future when we do these call-in streams. The next stream is going to be Friday. On April 1st, I'm going to be releasing a 2.5 hour video. It's going to be an interview with a guy named Derek Diablo. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be this coming Monday. Yeah, and I mean, hey, we'll just keep on keeping on. You know, I think I'm finally starting to hit a bit of a stride where I have a certain amount of things that I can not fall back on, but reach for when it comes to trying to do content and things like that. So, thank you guys for being here. You know, thank you guys for being here as always. Yeah, I'll catch you guys Friday.